a fan.
Oh, Rangers baseball tonight on Bally Sports Southwest, presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. And once again tonight, it's the Rangers and the Angels from Globe Life Field. Curtis Terry, oh man, with 2 big league hits to his credit. Rangers have won 3 straight games, and they welcome in more new faces today. DJ Peters, a new Ranger. And we welcome you inside Globe Life Field. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski, and the Rangers now have won 3 straight ball games, playing some of their better baseball in a little while. There are some new faces to introduce you to in tonight's ball game. But first, we have to talk about the way this team has been winning lately. One of the things they've done quite well, CJ, is that bullpen has been locked down.
Yeah, the bullpen's been good. There's been a lot of turnover in that bullpen. Just 1 reliever left from the opening day roster. That's Josh Sborz, but that hasn't been a bad thing necessarily for the Rangers. As you mentioned, Dave, the bullpen, it's been very good lately. And these new arms, Barlow has been fantastic. Patton as well. You go up and down the line. 14 1/3 innings over their last third. So they've been getting some work in. 14 strikeouts. Certainly good to see the swing and miss. The ERA, fantastic. But perhaps the big number, the 3 walks allowed, certainly for Chris Woodward. He's talked about that a lot this year, and that bullpen's been delivering in the strike zone.
Okay, so that's been a big part of the good news lately for the Rangers. Some other things that have been going well for them at times has been starting pitching. Jordan Lyles has the start tonight, and he comes in really pitching some of his best baseball of the year.
I would agree, and you could argue that maybe it was his best game in a Texas Rangers uniform. Of course, Jordan Lyles came over last year on a 2-year deal with the Rangers. It was 7 innings, a couple of hits allowed, 1 earned run against those Arizona Diamondbacks. There's one stat called game score. It was his highest game score since he's put on a Ranger uniform. And so for Jordan Lyles, that matters down the stretch here. It hasn't been a great year for him, but certainly the Rangers would like to see him finish pretty strong.
All right, so Jordan, maybe keep his good thing going. This Rangers team trying to make it 4 straight today, and if they're going to do it, maybe more good defense will be part of this story. They have been awesome lately behind the pitching, and Sarah Mayfield puts that to you, the spotlight next. Rangers baseball on Bally's.
Every time he steps up to the plate, goes into his windup, or runs one down.
He caught it! Oh, you won't see a better one than that!
He competes not only against the other team, but against the toughest adversary, himself. MLB Tonight, where the best outdo their best on MLB Network.
You want that home run feeling? Then step in the box and let it rip. Get ready for the Major League Baseball Junior Home Run Derby, powered by at MLB Develops. Compete locally and swing your way to the 2021 Junior Home Run Derby Finals. Get your community involved by hosting a local derby. Sign up for free at jrhrd.com.
between late game heroics and good overall execution. It's a much-needed win streak against division opponents. And following last night's 4-1 win over the Angels, Chris Woodward called it their best overall game of the season, from pitching to base running to defense. And that's where we start, with Rangers team defense as we put it in our Shiner Box Spotlight. We saw some really great things last night from Andy Ibanez, like this sliding grab in the second to get Max Stassi out. He's a great addition out there, holding down the fort at second base and certainly not afraid to go after any ball and get a little dirty. Brock Holt also made some big defensive contributions from third, like this little spin and throw ground out to first later in the game. And then the leader of the infield, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, with the hops to get Iglesias' sharp line out to end the fourth. Now, Woody says this team prides themselves on their defensive preparations, and to have only one error in the last 7 games, that speaks volumes to that dedication and their hard work, and it's certainly paying off, guys.
Love it. There's nothing better to me than watching a team play good defense. It makes it so much more enjoyable, and lately this team has been getting the job done, and hopefully they can continue that behind Jordan Lyles tonight and keep this win streak going against the Angels. So let's take a look at what the Angels are doing tonight. David Fletcher, per usual, leading things off at the top of the order. Shohei Ohtani, the DH, and Justin Upton back in the lineup today in left field. It's Stassi catching, Goslin at first. Joe Adele called up yesterday in the lineup today in right. Iglesias will be at shortstop, Marsh in center, and Jack Mayfield, the third baseman, bats ninth.
And for the Rangers, they're going up against for the Angels going up against Jordan Lyles tonight. You see 21 games on the season, 5-7 record. That ERA is just over 5 for him this year. Good strikeouts, 90 of them so far in 114 and a third innings. The pitch arsenal for Jordan this year: 4-seam fastball, slider, curveball. Those have been the top 3 pitches. He does have a changeup and a 2-seamer, but check out that note right there. We mentioned what a great game it was for him in his last start. Well, 53% 4-seam fastball usage. It's the highest that we have seen from him all year, so perhaps we'll see a little bit more of that tonight.
All right, well, we're all set, ready for a little baseball tonight. Second game of this 4-game series, and Lyles' first offering very high, ball 1, and it's got to be really high if David Fletcher's going to lay off it, which he did. Next one right in there for a strike. It's 1-1. This guy's some kind of hitter. Fletcher second in the league in hits. He's 6th with the .302 average, and he does like the ball up. That one right at the bottom of the zone for a strike. And the count quickly 1-2. Nick Lentz calling balls and strikes tonight. Last night it was Joe West. And a breaking ball. That one rolled up the middle. That's a base hit. And for David Fletcher, that's hit number 123 this year.
Well, he's a good hitter. He's been very good here lately. He's also just a tremendous contact hitter, better than 90% of the time. And you might look at that swing and say it wasn't very pretty, and it wasn't. But that's David Fletcher with 2 strikes, kind of old school style, if you will, and just slapping that ball right up the middle on the ground for another base hit.
Oh, he's a difficult one to keep off the bases. He is out there now for Shohei Ohtani, and Fletcher will occasionally run. He has 5 steals this year. Lyles from the stretch, and he catches a corner on Ohtani for strike 1.
And Ohtani didn't think so. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on that tonight, if the outside part of the strike zone will be open for right-handed pitchers. I don't think that breaking ball ever really crossed the plate.
Oh, I'm sure it did. Nick Lentz said it was a strike. 1 strike pitch, and that one popped up down that left field line. Might be room out there. There is room, and White makes the catch. 1 away.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the Rangers defense here this evening. It is delivered to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. You just saw Eli White in left field making that catch. Adolis Garcia is in center. DJ Peters, the right fielder tonight for the Rangers. Charlie Culberson, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Andy Ibanez, and Nate Lowe across the infield left to right. And Jose Trevino is doing the catching. Very nice play here from Eli White. You see that ball coming back a little bit, which is unusual off the left-handed bat. You feel like that ball would kind of curve into the stands. And we know it wasn't because of the wind.
Well, I'm certainly hopeful, because if it was because of the wind, then we've got breaking news. Here's Upton. He was out of the lineup yesterday. .229 average for Upton, 15 home runs. And Lyles goes after him with a fastball. That one's popped foul out of play. 0-2. Always nice when the fans give CJ a warm reception like that as he pokes his head out of the booth.
Always appreciate it. I didn't even know they noticed. Must be the extra time I put in for my makeup tonight.
Yes, that's probably what it was. If they only knew. 0-2. Up and away.
Well, it's nothing quite as humiliating as the situation I was in the other day and asking my wife literally, "How'd you see my makeup?" I couldn't find it. I didn't know what happened to it. And she didn't miss a beat. Just kind of roll with it.
Right? I mean, I can't imagine the panic you must have felt. 1-2 pitch from Lyles. Runner goes. A swing and a miss is strike 3. And the throw down to second won't be in time. Well, Fletcher steals second base. That's his 6th steal of the year. But Lyles picks up the strikeout, his first of the night. 2 away.
You're going to see the jump there from Fletcher. It wasn't a big lead necessarily, but a pretty good jump. And how about the slide as well? You talk about all the little things that are necessary to play this game right. Jose Trevino had a chance with the high fastball, but how Fletcher swung, excuse me, how we slid to the outside part of that bag, anticipating that it was going to be a close play at second.
So now Stassi. He takes ball 1. Stassi's hitting .308 with 10 home runs, and his on-base percentage up over .380. He's having a nice year at the plate. Right-handed hitter, a lot of right-handers in the lineup today for the Angels. Just 2 lefties in there. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Rangers must have felt the challenge. Chris Woodward did him even one better. He only has 1 lefty in his lineup, so both lineups very right-handed heavy tonight. Fletcher with a small lead at second base, and the 1-1. It's fouled away, strike 2.
So I'd say part of that, we know that Joe Madden, first of all, he's very creative as a manager, but it's kind of simple when you look at the numbers for Jordan Lyles and the splits this year. Righties have done much better against him, and so why not have as many right-handed hitters as you can in that lineup. 878 OPS for Jordan Lyles against right-handed hitters, 763 for the lefties. 18 of the 25 home runs that he has allowed have come against right-handed bats.
Stassi working on a 7-game hitting streak, and he takes high here. 2-2. It's 11 for 26 on this streak, and now you look at what's going on with this Angels offense, and it's been a struggle the last handful of games for them, especially in these spots with runners in scoring position. Two. And a bouncer right back to Lyles. He'll get out of the inning with that little underhand toss. And the leadoff single doesn't materialize for the Angels. The Rangers coming to bat.
Nerds. Oh, thanks. Well, I can.
No, I got it.
Sweet unholy cobalt. Is Brad's card better than mine? Better sign-up bonus? Better travel perks? Is that how Brad took that trip to Barcelona? Wait, Barcelona? Barcelona?
Steve, I got it on NerdWallet.
Ah. You said all that out loud.
Want a better credit card? We've got you. From the best rates to the best rewards, for all your credit card questions, turn to the nerds.
When we started our company, we simply wanted better sheets. But along the way, we've realized that softer, safer, organic cotton does so much more for the planet and for humanity. It helps your home become a force for good, because home is more than just an address. Home is our soul. Boll & Branch, organic sheets, bath, and home. Right now, try for 30 nights risk-free and get free shipping at bollandbranch.com.
for the Angels. Rangers ready to get to work now. At 39-67, they're 25 back of Houston. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa will lead it off at shortstop. Charlie Culberson at third base, and then it's Adolis Garcia in center. Nate Lowe at first, Andy Abanya at second, and the newest Ranger, DJ Peters in right field. Curtis Terry will be the DH, Eli White in left, and Jose Trevino catches and bats ninth.
Excuse me, Jose Suarez, the lefty, going tonight for the Angels. You'll see 13 games there now, 4 starts. There were 4 starts that have come in a row for him, so he is now in this rotation with the Angels. Good ERA at 3.45, 41 strikeouts so far this season in 44 in a third innings. The pitch arsenal for the lefty, we'll take a quick peek at that. 4-seam fastball averaging 93 miles an hour. The changeup, though, is a really good pitch for him. He does have a curveball and a 2-seam fastball, but you can see it. 136 is the batting average against the Suarez changeup.
Well, the lefty's first offering, fastball, runs in a little bit on Isaiah. Kiner-Falefa at 255 with 6 home runs. He was 1 for 4. Drove in a run, stole a base in yesterday's game. That one gets away from Stassi, 2-0. Isaiah's hit now in 9 of the last 10 games. The average, nonetheless, has still dropped a little bit during that time. 2-0. He fouls this one off for strike 1. So it's down there during batting practice today, and the way batting practice goes, you get a handful of rounds, let's say 4 rounds, and it's a prescribed number of swings you'll get per round. Isaiah got in there in one of his rounds, took a swing, lined one up the middle, said, "I'm good." Just that was it. Walked out. That was enough for that round of BP for him.
Well, we have seen that really over the last couple of years, the idea of what pregame preparation looks like for teams, and you and I have talked about it over the course of Chris Woodward's time here, and what they want their players doing. And so it's not just go in and take your, like you said, 4 or 5 rounds of BP. If you're done, you're done, and there's days that they just won't do it.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling it, there would be a time where you might have got yelled at for leaving your batting practice early, but not anymore.
We're to the point now too where I've noticed lately there's 2 groups.
Oh, really?
We're doing 2 groups of BP, and there are days where certain guys just don't even take it on the field. And I was discussing this with some folks yesterday. I think I don't know that we're more than maybe 5 years away from BP on the field being more rare than it is commonplace. 2-2. Ooh, that one right in there for a strike, and Kiner-Falefa down looking, 1 away.
That was a good looking pitch here from Suarez. 4-seam fastball dotted right on the inside corner with some good velocity. You can hit that spot right there with consistency and then add in the good changeup that he has. Even though this is a heavy right-handed lineup tonight for the Rangers, that could be a pretty good combination if Suarez shows this kind of control tonight. Well, fans would be bummed out about the idea of no batting practice. I get it. But the preparation has changed. And isn't it true that Ohtani has not taken batting practice on the field all year? Did you hear that around the All-Star game? They were talking about it.
Oh, I did not hear that.
I didn't even notice today. I didn't even look. I don't know if you noticed when you were down
there. I did not. Wasn't paying attention.
The story around the All-Star break was that he has not taken BP on the field all year, and he just doesn't.
Now that makes sense to me too. In his case, as much work as he has to put in general, if there's a piece of it that he doesn't want to do or doesn't feel like he needs to do, and Lord knows the numbers say he doesn't need to do any more than he is, then I wouldn't push it. Culberson here, he's made a living this year off left-handed pitchers. And the 1-1 from Suarez, a swing and a miss, strike 2.
So I would say, like I said, it would be tough for fans. They would miss it. So if we do get to that point where it's no more batting practice on the field, then just go ahead and let the broadcasters and TV crew take BP.
For sure.
But we will stand at second base so we can make sure we get you some souvenirs. I don't want to do it from home plate. I can't promise you anything. But second base, so we could get it out of here.
Yeah, a couple could. There's a swing and a miss, and Culberson strikes out. So back-to-back Ks for Suarez.
So this one looked like it came on the changeup. There's a good look at the grip. You know, he turns it over, but it's not necessarily a ton of depth, even though the ball was down. It doesn't have the drop necessarily that you might think. It's just that good speed differential. I mean, you're talking 11, 12 miles an hour off of his fastball, and difficult to pick up.
So Suarez, that's a nice start to his evening. Just his 5th start this season. 4 wins, 4 losses. 9 games out of the bullpen, where he pitched really well. And his first offering to Adolis Garcia, that one is low for a ball. Adolis 251, 23 homers, 63 RBIs. Had a quiet one yesterday, 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. Yeah, that one's fouled away. Yesterday's game, one of those, I don't want to say rare hitless games, but it looked like he was starting to heat back up again. And then he went hitless in the final game of that series against Seattle, hitless yesterday. We knew it was going to be difficult to keep up with the pace that he set when he joined the team back in April. He just took off on a torrid stretch. But I think the key for Adolis Garcia is to show that he's able to make some adjustments here, especially in the second half these last 2 months. Finish strong and give the Rangers a real strong feel going into the offseason and his ability to be in there every day next year. There's a swing and a miss. He strikes out, and Suarez strikes out the side in order in the first. So the little lefty off to a very nice start for the Angels. No score after 1.
You love to cook, but it's hardly a snap. Well, what if everything you need for a delicious meal was just left at your door? With oven-ready meals from Home Chef, you throw it all in the oven-safe tin and count down to delicious. Don't need that, or whatever that is. Make, plate, garnish, and enjoy. No prep, no mess, just amazing recipes, fresh ingredients, and hot out-of-the-oven happiness. Delicious, meat simple. Get $80 off your first month at homechef.com.
Good things come in Warby Parker glasses. Yes, in the glasses. You see, these lenses are scratch resistant, anti-reflective, and UV protective. So are these lenses. And these. These too. In fact, all of our lenses come that way, for free. And in these glasses, blue light filtering lenses. Clear, huh? You can add them to any frame for just $50. So that's the good stuff. Try our lenses risk-free for 30 days or try 5 pairs for free at warbyparker.com.
Expanding August 2021. Stakes raised. And Standard Insurance. Don't delay. Call Standard today. Well, Jordan Lyles out for another inning of work here tonight. Scoreless start to this one. You'll get Goslin, Adele, and Iglesias for the Angels. Worked around a leadoff hit last inning. Goslin, a right-handed hitter, and he takes strike 1 just near the outside corner, right in that general vicinity. That one's high, 1-1. Yesterday Goslin went 0 for 3 with a walk, scored a run. He's 32 years old, and he smashes that ball center field. Garcia angles straight back on it, though, makes the catch. And that is out number 1. Second fly ball out behind Jordan Lyles today. Here's Joe Adele making his season debut for the Angels, and this guy, just a very highly thought of young talent in the Angels system. He's only 22 years old. We saw him last year in that weird 60-game schedule. In fact, he played the majority of the Angels games, but it was tough. So this year he spent the better part of the year, in fact all of it to this point, at AAA Salt Lake. Good numbers, especially good power numbers. And he started after that one. Apparently held up 1-1.
Yeah, he's definitely one of their guys. He is still a top 10 and maybe even top 5 consensus throughout baseball. I haven't really looked closely at some of those midseason updates when you look at the prospect list, but he's a name that a lot of people around baseball know, and he got that little bit of an opportunity last year. Didn't go great for him, but as you mentioned, some really good numbers in the minor leagues, and still plenty of time in the career of Joe Adele to get it going. But he's got some big pop in that bat, that is for sure.
1-2 from Lyles. Breaking ball. It's wide. Adele was a first-round draft pick, 10th selection overall back in 2017 out of Ballard High School in Louisville, Kentucky. 2-2 pitch and a foul tip. He stays alive.
Well, Joe Adele made his big league debut last year, and he got a highlight that, well, he'll probably consider a low light, but we'll see it for a long time. Take it back to August 9th on that fly ball that he was tracking. It looked like he had a beat on it, and then the ejecto mitt threw it right over the fence, and it turned into what they called a 4-base error. I was hoping they would give him a home run. I understand why they didn't for Nick Solak. But that one's going to be around for a long time. It's not going to be Canseco in the head long. I don't think it's going to have that kind of life to it, but it'll be close.
I think it's got some staying power. That was a really unique play. You felt for him in the moment because it's weird. I mean, that's just not the type of thing you would expect to happen to any player. 3-2 pitch, and that one misses, and Adele takes the walk. So Lyles issues his first free pass of the night. We'll deal with Jose Iglesias.
I'll say this too about Adele, not something he did a ton in the minor leagues. He had 99 strikeouts to just 22 walks in 339 plate appearances. You got to keep an eye on him. He was 8 for 10 in stolen base attempts in the minor leagues this year.
Yeah, he takes a pretty good sized lead over there. Lyles with that long hold. Why do pitchers have a number of different moves? In other words, why the courtesy move like that has zero intent of really accomplishing anything?
So we call that the B move.
Okay.
And especially for lefties, right? Don't show them your A move. You can. You might, pick your timing. What Jordan did there was a really long hold to try to get your base runner uncomfortable. I don't know too many base stealers that like when the pitcher holds on to the ball for a long time. But then it was just a slower throw over. Right? He still wanted to throw over, but he wasn't going to give him his quick move.
One strike pitch.
So just like we try to do with hitters, right? We try to disrupt timing as pitchers. That's kind of part of what you're doing. Same thing as a base runner. That's why it's something you hear and pitchers get tired of hearing about it. But pitching coaches constantly staying on pitchers, mix up your time, mix up your looks, different moves. If Jordan feels like he really wants to try to pick Adele off, he's got a couple of different ways to do it now. He can hold for a long time and then give his quick move, or he can come set quick and then give the quick move as well. Almost like you're trying to lull a base runner to sleep a little bit.
Swing and a miss. He gets Iglesias kind of between swing thoughts there. Strikes him out, 2 away.
Yeah, Jose Iglesias did not see this four-seam fastball very well at all. Well above the strike zone. I mean, that was neck high. And perhaps he was anticipating a breaking ball. I don't know, but it wasn't pretty.
Almost looked like an at-bat that he's relieved to have over.
Maybe.
2 gone, and it'll bring up Marsh now. So I understand the hold.
Yeah.
I get the timing bit of it. That makes sense. But if you're going to turn and throw over to first, and I mean, I've watched it for years.
Yeah.
Why the half-baked throw?
Yeah, because I would say that one was, I said B move, and realistically, it was probably more like
a C move, right? Because that was more like the B.
Down the alphabet. Yeah, that was probably closer to the B. But it's also the footwork, too. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I will tell you, too, pitchers generally are not comfortable throwing a ball that slow. You see it all the time when guys try to throw a ball over to first, and they have all day long, and then they launch it. But I don't know what quite honestly, to go that slow. To go down to your D or E move. Or the slow toss. And it could be because you were told to throw over and you don't want to.
Oh.
Could be, and I'm not saying that Jordan was being insubordinate or anything like that, but perhaps he wasn't that interested in the throw over.
Well, there goes Adele. Pitch looked pretty good. Throw down to second is also good, but not in time. And Adele has his first stolen base of the year.
And his first stolen base as a big leaguer. He was 0 for 1 last year when he got an opportunity. Decent jump, but good speed, and you could see him at speed kind of picking up. And very interesting, similar slide to what we saw from David Fletcher. For all the guys that wear the oven mitts, and he has one on, we have seen 2 stolen base attempts so far in this game from Angels base runners, and both of them have slid feet first.
I like it. It seems like a less dangerous way to get it done.
So if you do that, though, are you allowed to wear the oven mitt, or is that false hustle and you're just doing it for the drift?
Yeah. Listen, you can wear whatever you want.
My son wants one of those so bad.
Really?
Oh my gosh, so bad.
I get uncomfortable almost even looking at them. I feel what's that word? Claustrophobic?
Oh really?
Yes, it
like
makes my whole body claustrophobic. Think of sticking my hand in that thing where I can't move my little digits around to.
Well, I haven't seen that one too often.
I got 5 fingers. I want to use them.
I haven't seen the thumb out one very often that Adele has.
3-1. Fouled away.
So you would really struggle as a crab then. Wouldn't work.
Never be a good crab.
It's hard to text.
Three and 2 on Marsh. So another man in scoring position for the Angels. They have 2 stolen bases already today. And good speed out there in Adele. Marsh, though, a 167 hitter this year. Marsh, another one of the young players, a part of this Angels team this season, 23 years old. And he pulls this one foul. Stays 3 and 2. That's his first big league hit just a couple of weeks ago. Made his debut on July 18th.
About all these young outfielders. Think about the couple here with the Angels, the Seattle Mariners, the group that they have. The Rangers starting to get a look at some young outfielders right now in this division. It's always interesting to see that, especially this many guys kind of getting to the big leagues around the same time. Thinking about Kelenic, and we saw Kyle Lewis the past couple of years. It's they're not all going to stick. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Peters getting a start tonight here for the Rangers. Yep. Eli White getting more steady time. Adolis Garcia seems like he's kind of found his stride right now. These next couple of years will certainly be interesting in this division. See how many of these players actually emerge and can hold down those jobs in the big leagues.
8th pitch of this at bat. And Marsh, did he go after it? No, he did not. Joe West lets him slide. That's ball 4.
Wow.
A couple things surprised me about that. Number 1, I thought it was pretty close. Number 2, he normally, I feel like he's got a tendency to ring dudes up.
Yeah, especially if you're going to do this. Like if you're going to make the decision for Joe West, that might give him a reason to go ahead and ring you up. We'll take a look here.
I think he held up.
That's really close.
Joe may have been distracted by the flowing hair. Possible anyway. Jack Mayfield Ninth place hitter now. And he bounces it back to Lyles. And the second inning will end the same way the first ended. That little harmless comeback. So Lyles works around a couple of walks. We're playing an inning and a half, no score.
1, 2, 3. Wake up for a full day of baseball on MLB Central. Featuring an all-star lineup of hosts.
Let's rock, baby.
Teeing up baseball's biggest news and stories with a little style.
This is waiting for you right here.
Can we record that?
Joined by a colorful cast of guests all season long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it does look good on camera.
You're most likely to avoid paying the dinner bill.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
The fun never stops on MLB Central. Weekday mornings, 10 Eastern. Only on MLB Network.
Against a team that's got a bunch of right-handers.
Relax and watch High Heat with Christopher Russo, only on MLB Network.
Here at Globe Life Field, and it's time for our T-Mobile coverage cam. Straight away center field. Indoors today, 72 degrees with the lid closed. 90 degrees outside today. It actually has been borderline pleasant here locally. Much better though inside with that roof closed. Here's Nathaniel Lowe, and he shoots this one foul for strike one. Lowe, Ibanez, and then DJ Peters this inning. Against Jose Suarez. Suarez struck out Kiner Falefa, Culberson, and Garcia in order in the first inning. And a little comebacker. He'll show off his fielding abilities. Takes care of Lowe on away.
First ball in play for the Rangers, even though it wasn't hit pretty hard. And you can see where a guy like this, because he relies so heavily on the changeup, that Suarez would have to be in a position to make sure he's fielding his position really well, right? Think about some of the softer toss guys, and I know the velocity's been good, but if he's working that changeup away to a lot of these right-handed hitters, especially, you could see where he gets a lot of balls off the end of the bat and weak ground balls back to him.
Andy Ibanez will take a fastball upstairs. Ibanez 227 average. 0 for 2 yesterday, was hit by a pitch. That one, it's a little extra on the edges today for Nick Lentz. That's a strike, 1-1. Suarez, he's 5'10" with 225 pounds. 23 years old, out of Venezuela. And it's 1-1. That one on the ground, hit sharply down there to first base, but Gosselin has it and takes care of Ibanez for the second out of the inning. Well, let's check in with Sarah.
Well, one of the new faces we're excited to learn a little bit more about is DJ Peters as he walks up to the plate. And coming up through the Dodgers system, he learned a lot being around future Hall of Famers, MVPs. It's something he said you don't take for granted. And he was grateful for the opportunity he got over there, learned a lot about himself in that experience. But what he wants to bring over to this opportunity is that winning culture. And he knows that Woody pretty well, and Woody knows that winning culture as well. So he's excited to be a part of a bigger picture and contribute here.
Well, it's a great opportunity for him. And for so many of these guys in Rangers uniforms right now, it's our first look at DJ Peters. And he check swings and rolls that one right into right field for a base hit. Big, strong guy. Yeah, I don't know. Shrug emoji. He'll take the base hit.
Well, it's fantastic, right, dude? Make your debut with your new team and let that be your first hit. You can have a little fun with it. There's a check swing. That was a four-seamer that cut. You just want to cut down that swing a little bit and keep it on the green. It's kind of the idea. I mean,
surprise.
If he misses that, it's not a swing. Like, he didn't offer it that pitch. Think about what we saw with Marsh and how far he went compared to how far Peters went. But I think you have a little fun. You go back in the dugout and you tell the guys, hey, get used to this. This is what I'm bringing to the table here as a Ranger.
He's a big exit velocity guy. Here's Curtis Terry. And his first two big league hits last night, and he takes upstairs here. Ball one.
I think he slept a little bit better last night, maybe compared to the other nights. Poor Curtis. You know, he had some hard hit balls, but just nothing was falling in for him. And then to finally get a couple of base hits was nice to see last night.
And this one up the middle, and that could be trouble. It drops down and gets past Marsh. Around third base, Peters, he comes to the plate and he will score. Curtis Terry drives in the first run of the ball game, and the Rangers on top 1-0.
That's not easy to do, to single to center field, not be able to advance to second, and then have a guy that's 6'6" score from first base. But that is exactly what we just saw. And Peters was not on the move. You can see it there. Here comes Marsh. He dives for this ball. I mean, look how close it is to him. And I guess Adele was going to get there quicker anyway. But once he hit the ground, he kind of stayed down. It was a good effort. He comes up a little bit short, looking in his glove, hoping the baseball was going to be there. But that is some excellent base running from DJ Peters. Because here's the thing. I mean, he can't completely sell out. He took a chance. I guess he did sell out. And felt like that ball was going to be down. A little stutter step there. Surprised that he was asked to score, and ahead for a slide, and he does.
So now the first RBI of Terry's career. And Terry yesterday after the ball game asked about the big night, the hits and whatnot. He made the point, and it was the same point we were making all night, which was not only was it his first hit, but it set up the Rangers' first run. And in a ball game that they ended up winning 4-1, it was huge. And he made the point. He's like, you know, it was fun to get my first hit, but it was even more fun that it mattered. You know, that it was meaningful to the result of the game, and it was a result that was a win for the ball club. That meant as much to me as the hit itself. And then later we get another base hit. Now has his first RBI. So.
Well, think about the weight on his shoulders, not just getting that first hit that we're talking about. What you put on a big league uniform, yeah, your numbers matter, but you want to be a contributor. You want to be a guy that your teammates and your coaches look at as someone who's helping the team win. And when you do that in a big way, man, it's just a really nice feeling for Curtis Terry, no doubt, as he talked about.
Yesterday, Terry also tagged up on a sac fly and moved from first to second, and that seemed like a real surprise move. This ball hit well to center field. Marsh, though, is positioned right there for it, and the inning is done. Rangers don't get that first run of the ball game on the Curtis Terry RBI single to the third. It's 1-0.
Push it down the third base line and end up at first base.
Relax and watch High Heat with Christopher Russo, only on MLB Network.
You want that home run feeling? Then step in the box and let it rip. Get ready for the Major League Baseball Junior Home Run Derby, powered by MLB Develops. Compete locally and swing your way to the 2021 Junior Home Run Derby Finals. Get your community involved by hosting a local derby. Sign up for free at jrhrd.com.
1, 2, 3. Wake up for a full day of baseball on MLB Central. featuring an all-star lineup of hosts.
Let's rock, baby.
Teeing up baseball's biggest news and stories with a little style.
This is waiting for you right here.
Can we record that?
Joined by a colorful cast of guests all season long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it does look good on camera.
You're most likely to avoid paying the dinner bill.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
The fun never stops on MLB Central. Weekday mornings, 10 Eastern, only on MLB Network.
On top, looking forward to Saturday, August 14th. That man, Chuck Morgan, along with Adrian Beltre, will be enshrined into the Texas Rangers Baseball Hall of Fame. You can get your tickets now at texasrangers.com. Two pretty big names right there. One, Beltre, the other, Chuck.
Well deserved. That's going to be really cool. You talk about two of the bigger names, certainly in recent franchise history, and for as long as Chuck has been doing it. Well deserved. Down in the fishbowl.
Yeah. A swing and a miss by Fletcher. 0-2. David Fletcher singled in the first inning, stole second, but was left there. In fact, the Angels have gotten a man on in the first 2 innings and all the way to second base, but unable to get past second. Lyles breaking ball. This one lined softly into left field. That's a base hit. And so Fletcher's 2 for 2.
He really is such a pass. Not a lot of power in that swing. Jordan Lyles wanted this breaking pitch down, and he leaves it kind of middle, but there's that flat swing again that you get from David Fletcher. And as I mentioned, nearly 91% contact rate on his swings. He's one of the best in baseball at putting the ball in play.
So another lead man on base for the Angels, and Shohei Ohtani, 0 for 1, steps in. And that pitch, what was that, called a ball or a strike? I think it was a ball. I'm going ball 1. We see down there that Ohtani has been held in check for the most part by the Rangers. There aren't many teams that can say that. Ohtani, I don't think there's any debate. The most compelling, the most feared player right now in baseball. This guy does every single thing well. I think he might do some things that other people just don't even do. Well, he does.
Yeah, and I think he'll be a pretty heavy favorite for the American League MVP, which will be interesting in the sense that, would you consider him the first DH if he does win the MVP? Now he's going to win. If he wins it, it's going to be because he also pitches.
Well,
you know what I mean? So it's kind of a weird.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I would almost argue you could take out the pitching and he could still be.
Yeah, I think he'd be right there. I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr. probably would have him beat him. We still have 2 months to go. So we'll see. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. does have a shot at the Triple Crown. Not that that's an automatic MVP necessarily. But the pitching puts him over the top. And it's not even close. And I think that's where he really separates himself. I'm with you. He's in the conversation. But because DHs don't win the MVP, right, he would probably have a hard time winning it just as a hitter.
Fletcher off first, and he'll draw another toss.
I feel like when Jordan does that, you want to take your headset off and yell down at him.
Well,
throw it harder over there.
Well, either throw it or don't throw it. It's kind of my thing. But I mean, a lot of guys play the game the same way. Whatever works, I'm fine.
No pickoffs this year. Maybe that's why.
Oh, that was a beauty. Full count now on Ohtani. So there, you don't have the time during an at-bat to describe everything that makes him such a special player, but I'd say this: 37 home runs and 15 stolen bases before the month of July was over, and no one in Major League history had done that. 3-2, runner goes. There's a swing and a miss. Strike three. Throw down to second.
Oh,
and Fletcher in there. His second stolen base of the evening.
Well, it looked like Jose Trevino made a pretty good throw, and looked like this play was going to be close. Now the Rangers have not made a decision on whether or not they want to challenge this just yet. They're not going to. Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay here. As I mentioned, again, short lead, but good jump. And perhaps because that throw was just a little bit offline, if it's on the second base side, or I should say the first base side of second, they probably have him. But Charlie Culberson had to bring that throw back a little bit. And again, the outside slide from David Fletcher, feet first.
Yeah, pretty good job of holding the bag too with the foot.
And that was a great shot of that replay. After Jose threw that ball, he just took off for third base.
Yep. Lyles buries the first offering to Upton. So already 3 steals tonight for the Angels, which matches a season high for them. They've done it a handful of times. Upton struck out swinging in the first inning. 0 for 1. Comes up empty here. A ball and a strike on Upton. And for some of the young players that we've talked about in this series, and we saw Chris Rodriguez yesterday pitching. We've talked about Marsh a little bit. Joe Adele up with his team and in the lineup today. They've got a lot of not just veteran guys, but like sort of really veteran guys like Upton, who's 33 years old, now in his 15th major league season. He's got another year left on his deal with the Angels. In the dirt, that one gets away, and Fletcher hustles to third base on the wild pitch, but we'll stop there. Another free base.
Take a look at this pitch here. Jose Trevino has got the leg out, goes down. It looked like it might have hit him on the thumb of his glove and just kicked hard left. He was in position. Kind of a bad break on it. Looked like where that ball bounced.
First time tonight that the Angels have gotten a man to third base. Two on to Upton. Look good. And it is good. 2-2.
So you mentioned the 3 stolen bases that we've seen tonight already in this game against Jordan Lyles. That is a career high. This is now 4 times that it's happened to him over his career in which he's allowed 3 stolen bases. But the second time this year. He's been around the game for a long time. So twice this year Jordan has allowed 3 stolen bases in a game.
Ooh. Reno, good job of keeping that one near the plate. He just had no idea that he had done it. It's going to be a panicky feeling.
I was going to say that's where I wish we had those heart rate monitors on players. Like trying to find some money when the ice cream man's coming down the street. I don't know where it is. We got to hurry. I mean, he did a great job deadening that baseball and keeping it right in front of him. That's fine. Look at Justin Upton, almost as if he was going to pick that ball up or something.
Yeah, thought twice. Meanwhile, get Trevino a bomb pop for keeping that one close. Fletcher stays at third. Full count on Upton now. This is a big pitch for Lyles. Infield in. Here it comes. And he loses him. So Upton takes the walk. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with Rick Renner.
What do you think of the Blue Jays home run jacket? Have you gotten a good look at that thing?
I have not. No.
So it was in that highlight. I haven't gotten the details on it. It looks like they have maybe at least every country on the back of the jacket. It's really formal for a celebration compared to some of the other things we see around the league. But that is in full swing right now. Most creative idea for a home run celebration. It's unfortunate that Pablo Sandoval was let go on the Braves.
Oh man.
that panda head that he would put on and then give the person a hug at the end of the dugout. I like that one.
Yep, I really enjoyed that one.
I always thought the laundry cart was a little dangerous. I didn't love that one. If I was a manager or a coach.
Right. What was one that the Nationals did in 2019 when they won the World Series? It seemed like they would get in like imaginary cars with manual transmissions and rev them up.
That was Josh Harrison, right?
Yeah.
And maybe Adamine, I think is one of them. I think it might be Harris is a big car guy.
I thought whomever hit it would get in the imaginary car with them and maybe do the same thing. That one's high, 1 and 2. But you know, listen, you just get bits and pieces here and there when you're not closely involved. Jacket's an interesting idea.
Of course, the Padres with the big chain. I was wondering what was taking a baseball team so long to get to the chain. Right, Miami football, I think, was the first turnover chain.
Strikeout of Stassi for the second out of the inning.
That's a big one right there for Jordan Lyles. You mentioned it when Upton was up and trying to get that strikeout, turned into a walk, but first and third, 1 out. Now Jordan Lyles doesn't have to think about the double play. And even though he's been battling some base runners and some stolen bases tonight, he's 1 out away from his third shutout inning.
Nothing easy about it so far tonight for Jordan. It's Gosselin here. Fletcher at third, Upton at first. And a fastball right in there for a strike. Phillies have the homer hat. Gosselin, you see, he's hitless now in his last 11 at bats, including a fly out in the second inning. A ball pretty well struck. One and one. The Rangers have the 1-0 lead on the Curtis Terry RBI single. We got to see some pretty impressive base running from DJ Peters, who scored from first on a base hit to single, or base hit to center rather. There's a little roller, shortstop. Kind of Falefa is going to have to hustle it, and it is not in time. That gets a run in. Boy, Gosselin was really moving down the line, and he picks up an RBI for the effort. This game tied at 1.
Yeah, a fortunate break that it wasn't hit a little bit harder to make this play a little bit easier for Isaiah Falefa. He decided to backhand it. I thought he did a good job. And you see a little bit of that kind of double pump on the exchange. That's probably what cost him right there. And yeah, just barely beating it out. Well, actually by a pretty good margin when you watch it in slow motion like that.
There are times when it takes just a little extra to get the throw off, and that was costly right there. So the inning continues, and Joe Adele, who walked earlier, takes a big swing and a miss here. We were talking earlier about batting practice and how some just don't take as much, and we were discussing how it may, feels like it may be disappearing. Who knows, 5-10 years from now. This guy, Joe Adele, this is one of the reasons all of us still love batting practice. Joe Adele was putting on a show today, and I can't claim to have witnessed all of it. There were a couple that I saw, a couple of massive shots. I was getting text messages from Rick Renner. Mike Bassett came into the booth before the broadcast. Was like, did you guys see that? He hit the truck over Arcette out there in left field. That ball stroked out to left and just gets by White. Upton's in. Gosselin right on his heels. He'll score. And Adele with a 2-run double is giving the Angels a 3-1 lead.
Well, right on time. This one sounded pretty hard off the bat, better than 100 miles an hour. It's a breaking ball, not a bad one, but not his best either from Jordan Lyles. And I think this ball just continued to carry on Eli White. As you see him kind of pulls on it, we know Eli's got some of the greatest speed in the game, so if he can't get to it, probably nobody else could get to it either. And the ball was smoked. And unfortunate for the Rangers, right? Go back to first and third and 2 outs and no runs across. And now 3 runs across.
Yeah, that Gosselin ground ball looked like it would end the inning. Just a little casual with the play over to first, and now here we are 3 runs later, and Adele's in scoring position for Iglesias. Iglesias 0 for 1, struck out of the second inning. Lyles at 25 pitches in the inning already. Number 26 misses. It's 2-0.
And if you remember that strikeout for Iglesias back in the second inning, it was that really ugly swing on a fastball that was above the zone. Now, of course, you got to be ahead in the count to try to get that, but there's a little data to back it up. How about a nearly 48% chase rate for Iglesias? That is the second highest in Major League Baseball.
Well, that one grooved. 2-1. The Angels with the lead in this third inning. 2-1 from Lyles. Breaking ball. That one popped up. First base side. Low gives it a look, but that one out of play. We'll slide over a moment for Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
Want to make your own big plays? We'll see you at Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, exclusively for everyone.
All right, Adele, hands on hips out there at second base. The 2-2 from Lyles. Iglesias fights that one off.
You saw it again, right? Fastball up above the zone. Iglesias could not lay off of it. It's a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling more often than not when you think about Chase, especially right on right. You think about that slider, but and trying to get strikeouts that way. But for Jordan Lyles, it seems like there's an opportunity to go up above the zone again.
Well, not much you could do with that one other than spoil it.
And that's not an easy one, and that's fastball at 93, but it's up and in. That's a great swing and miss kind of strikeout pitch. And I think because we've seen a decent, not to say a lot, but a couple of hard hit breaking balls against Jordan Lyles, I'd probably stay with that fastball. And that looks like a much more comfortable swing from Iglesias, right, on a slider. Even though that was pretty well located. And, you know, if you get him to chase the slider out of the strike zone or the curveball, great. I don't know if I'd throw one in the strike zone right now.
Another 8-pitch at bat with this pitch to Iglesias. And it's hit hard out to center field. Garcia backpedals quickly to make the play, and that will end the inning. The Angels scored 3 runs, however. We go to the bottom of the third tonight. Rangers with some catching up to do.
You didn't see me, but I was there. I've been part of every rivalry, Every dynasty, every game, set, match. I've been on the backs of champions, smashed world records, and I was even there for your personal best. I am synthetic fabric, and I am made from crude oil.
Nerds! Have new money goals this year? NerdWallet can help make them happen. Like getting auto insurance to match your new 0-mile commute? We have tools for that. Want to refinance your mortgage and put those savings into the college fund? We have tips for that too. Or get a low-interest credit card for your long-awaited honeymoon? We can help you find the one. Credit card, that is. Discover and compare the smartest credit cards, mortgage lenders, and more on NerdWallet. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds.
Some incredible views of the ballpark and the game. Plus, you can satisfy all your Texas barbecue cravings from this outstanding location. Call 972-RANGERS. Get yourself set up with some tickets today. Here it's a 3-1 ball game with the Angels taking the lead in the last half inning. Jose Trevino will lead off here against Suarez, and he watches strike one. Trevino batting in the ninth spot in the order, 229 average, 3 home runs. And he takes up high. Now, Woody's talked a lot about how much he enjoys Trevino in there against left-handers in particular. When given the opportunity, felt like that's definitely the right place to get Jose in the lineup. Jose started the year really as the primary catcher. Some injuries cost him a little time. John Hicks came in, did a real good job, especially offensively. Jonah Heim has sort of patiently and quietly really gotten his feet underneath him. And the other day, after Heim with a second walk-off home run in as many games, Woodward was asked in the postgame, said, "What, do you have a catcher controversy going on now, like a quarterback controversy? Like, who's your guy?" And he said, "Well, I think for right now, I think Jonah has to get, the majority of reps. Just the way he's swinging the bat, he does a great job defensively as well." So it seems to be where we are for the moment. 1-2. Yeah, that's tight. It's very careful to point out that you really don't want to take too much away from Trevino either, because he's making some good strides this year. It's the power of Heim, though, that might be the big differentiator. 2-2. There's a swing and a miss, and Trevino strikes out to start the third.
Well, we're talking about Jonah Heim and the home runs, and what a big moment both of these were for him. And exciting to see, no doubt, for Jonah Heim, especially his reaction on the first one, which was really enjoyable to watch. Not so much of your Diego Castillo, but for everybody else involved, yeah, Jonah was having himself a pretty good time. Second time around, well, it's kind of old hat. He's just kind of used to it now, a little bit cooler. This is what I do. I hit walk-off home runs when I get the opportunity. No, of course it was as exciting as the first one. And to do it in back-to-back games, what a cool moment for him. He will never, ever forget that for the rest of his life. He will bore his grandchildren with that story. And you're like, "We know, Grandpa, we heard it already."
No, there's no way that could be boring for I mean,
they're gonna be like, what is that, 4K? Gosh, how old are you?
It's pretty awesome. The fact that he's the only rookie in Major League history with back-to-back walk-off home runs. It's kind of cool. Part of history.
And the whole thing you were talking about, and the idea of what the Rangers are doing here, I think it's kind of fascinating. They got to figure it out. You got a couple more months to go here, and how things will look between those two.
Kind of Falefa just got underneath this one, and that is the second out of the inning. Well, let's check in with Sarah.
Well, to keep it in the history conversation of Heim's walk-off balls, obviously he had 2 in back-to-back nights. So I asked him, all right, so who gets to keep which ball? Because his dad really wanted the first one. He goes, my dad can have the second one. I'll keep the first one. So at least there's one to share for both of them.
Makes it easy.
That's so great that his dad wanted it and he was told no. Think about all the things over the years, all the travel baseball and the drives to practices. Hey, can I get? No, you can't. You can have the second one, though. Just be grateful, I guess, that he has to.
You know, it's all in the presentation and the framing of it, though. They tell you that, like, well, I was going to give you the first one, but I mean, this is the historic one. I wanted you to have, you know,
that's a good point.
The record home run ball. One-0 to Culberson. Suarez off the plate with another one of those changeups. He has 4 strikeouts so far tonight, Suarez.
So I was looking at the changeup numbers for Rangers hitters this year. I know the changeups we talked about it earlier has been somewhat of a struggle, but the left-handed changeup for Charlie Culberson this year is hitting .391 against it. And there's a lot of numbers in the 100s and low 200s for most of these Rangers hitters, but the lefty change has been a pitch that Charlie Culberson has done some damage against.
He takes ball 3 here.
The Rangers as a team against, this is their right-handed hitters against left-handed changeups, hitting .218. League average is .245, so we know that's been a little bit of a problem for them this year.
There's a strike.
But anyway, going back to that playing time situation, I mean, the game has gotten so accepting of the idea of platooning players in multiple positions. You could see where it's playing matchups a little bit more with 2 catchers over the course, say, of a full season.
Suarez does catch a corner. And it's a full count. That was close.
Yeah, borderline pitch here for Charlie Culberson. Probably one he doesn't want to offer at in a 3-1 count. Not a lot you can do with that pitch anyway. Looked like it was just off. He's better off taking that and getting the call as opposed to putting a swing on it and hitting a little ground ball off the end of the bat.
All right, well, now the payoff pitch from Suarez. It's fouled away.
Certainly Suarez knows that Charlie Culberson is good against the changeup. He has seen 6 pitches in this at bat, and he's only seen 1 changeup.
Culberson about to see a 7th pitch in this at bat. He did strike out on the first. Breaking ball fouled away. He'll see an 8th pitch. Suarez pretty deliberate between pitches. He goes from that stretch position even with nobody on base. He's got a couple little maneuvers apparently to get himself into a position he likes, and then the big inhale and exhale. It's all breathing these days, CJ.
It's about time somebody figured it out. That's the key.
Keep breathing. 3-2. And a little tapper foul again. Tony Beasley. We'll lose those good hands. I feel like there's a story with that Suarez hair, right? There's something there.
Like lost the bet kind of story? Or?
Well, I don't know. How do you get it that color exactly? And is it by design?
I would say yes. I don't think that's his natural color.
Well, I'm with you on that piece of it. It seems like somebody had the idea, well, let's dye our hair, and maybe didn't realize how much dye it takes. The 3-2. There's a bouncer up the middle. And Fletcher is there. He throws out Culberson. And the inning is done. Suarez with another good half inning. We go to the fourth tonight. It's 3-1.
52% of men between 40 and 70 experience erectile dysfunction, but many don't get treated. Now there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get genuine ED medication prescribed by a healthcare professional from the comfort of home. If prescribed, you'll receive your medication with free 2-day shipping and discreet packaging. Start your free online visit today at GetRoman.com/TV.
It's not just because Boll & Branch organic cotton sheets are incredibly soft. They are. And it's not just that they're free from toxins and made by people who are paid and treated fairly. That's true too. It's because home is where the magic happens. And with better sheets made in safer ways, home makes the world a better place. Boll & Branch. Right now, try for 30 nights risk-free and get free shipping at bollandbranch.com.
Is brought to you by Scottish Rite for Children. Celebrating a century committed to innovation at healing muscles, joints, and bones, and giving children back their childhood. Cool exterior shot of the ballpark as we bring you inside for the fourth inning. Marsh will lead it off for the Angels. And then Jack Mayfield, and then back up top for David Fletcher. It was a 3-run third inning for the Angels. And this is kind of an important inning for Lyles. He's got to bounce back with a little bit more efficient effort here. He used 32 pitches last inning. Puts a little pressure on his night. 2-strike pitch. And Marsh held off.
Yeah, we had told you when we showed you the pitch arsenal for Jordan Lyles and the high percentage of fastballs, four-seam fastballs that he used in his last game, 53%. That number's down, so he hasn't quite taken that same game plan. He's only at 38%, which is actually below what he's done for the season. So a little bit less usage on the four-seam fastball tonight for Jordan Lyles. The slider usage is up, curveball usage is up a little bit. He's not giving these Angels very many fastballs.
Breaking ball, and this one hit well out to center field. Garcia may have enough room. He does. Just in front of the wall out there. Marsh retired, one away. It's a pretty big poke for an out. Hey, show off your Rangers pride this summer. Pick up the latest gear from the Grand Slam team store. It's open 7 days a week right off the TXU Energy North entrance. Of course, you can always shop online as well at MLBshop.com. I will say there's something about walking through and taking a look at the merchandise. It's a huge team store.
I got to get back in there. I lost my T-shirt. I didn't lose it. I lost it as in someone else claimed it in my family. I'm watching my 21-year-old son somehow end up with it on. I'm like, all right, I can keep it.
There's a strike to Mayfield to count 0-2. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I was a little bummed out about it, but he seemed happy. So.
Yeah, and nobody's taking the mug or the big.
No, nope. No, they don't even touch it. They know better.
What do you call that? A hydro flask? Is that what we call those things?
I don't think so. It's more like a tumbler.
Oh, tumbler.
I mean, it's not a Yeti brand, but it's kind of like that Yeti type.
2-2 to Jack Mayfield. What do you put in there? A bunch of Red Bull?
Mostly water. No, I am having a Red Bull tonight, but that's usually not the case. Trying to stay away from the coffee. I don't know which worse. Late night coffee or sugar-free energy drink.
I don't know. This one high in the air, deep out to left field. White appears like he has room. He does, and he makes the catch. Boy, those two balls really well hit for long outs, but it's exactly what they are, outs. And we'll turn the lineup over.
Well, you mentioned it, and they have been hit hard, but think about last inning for Jordan Lyles. The pitch count was high. There's a couple of walks in there with some good contact. And so he decides to go ahead and come right at these Angels hitters, especially at the bottom of the order. And for both Marsh and Mayfield, they gave it a ride, but those are two quick outs for Jordan.
So now David Fletcher, 2 for 2 today with a run scored, and he fouls off strike one. Fletcher came in second in the league with 122 hits. You can add 2 to that tonight. Still a handful behind Cedric Mullins out there in Baltimore. Man, he is, especially lately, Fletcher with a lot of multi-hit games. He's in a hole here now, 0-2.
Well, part of their early season struggles went along with the struggles of David Fletcher. The Angels this offseason, they gave him a 5-year contract, very team-friendly 5-year contract. He's only a 2+ player, so there's a lot of years of control left on the back end, but he had been so consistent for them that they felt comfortable doing it. Then he got off to a really slow start, and he just wasn't getting on base. In April, he had a .282 on base percentage. In July, .367. Pretty significant difference for him. Again, he doesn't have a lot of power, only a couple of home runs this year. That's always kind of been his game, but he has gotten on base at a pretty high rate, .376 last year. So to see that slow start, sub .300, that was a big surprise. And who knows? And the only reason I bring up the contract part of it is, yeah, it wasn't a $250 million contract, but it's still a big contract. And perhaps maybe there's a little extra pressure on him early on to try to live up to it and honor that. And he got off to a pretty slow start.
Fouls that one off. Keeps the count at 2-2. He's a huge fan favorite in Southern California. Love his play, I think, and then he's constantly turned into some sort of internet meme. It seems like week by week there's another David Fletcher meme that gets circulated. They love him.
A scrappy uniform, always dirty. He's from Orange, California. He went to Loyola Marymount.
Strikes out here, and that completes a 1-2-3 inning for Jordan Lyles. He needed it.
A good bounce back from Jordan Lyles for that 1-2-3 inning, but especially getting David Fletcher to go outside of the strike zone and not make contact on a breaking ball. Very sharp there from Jordan Lyles. Getting it done here against the Angels and getting those Rangers hitters back in the dugout.
I'm Lorenzo Cain, and you can catch me robbing home runs on MLB Tonight.
I'm Bill Ripken, and you can catch me talking about those robbed home runs on MLB Tonight.
MLB Tonight, where baseball's best players are side by side with TV's best baseball analysts.
This question is for Carlos Pena. Carlos, for the record, where did your signature term, placata, come from?
Placata is just an expression my brothers and I used when we were kids. It means good, solid contact, usually resulting in a home run. Placata! So if you go deep, it means you just went placata.
The analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions. Only on MLB Network.
Placata!
Otherwise, still pretty low scoring, 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. And Adolis Garcia will lead things off for the Rangers. That'll be Garcia, Nathaniel Lowe, and Andy Ibanez against the short left-hander Jose Suarez. Well, he pumps a fastball right in there for a strike.
It's got to be encouraging, I think, to shorter athletes. And based on, obviously we're looking at Suarez, but there are a lot of shorter pitchers around the league. You and I talked to Kip Fagg about that, the Rangers scouting director, amateur scouting director, and looking at the draft. And I mean, they like to see the big guys, but they're not thinking about it all the time.
Garcia with a base hit. Rangers' 3rd hit of the night, all singles.
Third hit, but the first time for the Rangers, I believe that they had the leadoff runner on. This is a changeup from Suarez. Look at that one. See it cut back a little bit. He usually would turn it over and try to get it to fade away. It cuts probably accidentally, and that's exactly why Adolis Garcia got a chance to drive that baseball. If it faded the way he wanted to, that's off the end of the bat or a swing and a miss. Almost seems unfair as a pitcher. That little mistake, it was still a decent pitch, but a little bit of cut, and that cost you.
So with the lead man on, Lowe to the plate, and he takes inside, ball 1. And it looks like Nathaniel's gone back to his own bats tonight. He was not out there taking BP today. Yesterday, borrowed a bat from El Bombi, and he used it all night, but in this final at bat, he broke it. And it could be that Garcia has a 1-bat and you're out sort of leniency about him, and so Lowe has to go back to his old bat.
Or maybe you break it, you buy it.
It could be
kind of policy. It's all fun and games until you break somebody else's bat.
Cool, man. Fouled away. 1-2 the count. So Lowe batting in the cleanup spot. Bounce back to the mound in the 2nd inning. He's the only left-handed hitter in there for the Rangers this evening. And we're talking about, of course, with the left-hander on the mound, why the manager might go that route. Trying to get as many righties in there. 1-2. That one fouled off. But it is interesting to note in the case of Suarez, he's working with reverse splits this year. Right-handers are hitting 153 off of Suarez. In years past, right-handers have been a major issue for him. He had surrendered a 349 average to right-handed batters in his previous 2 seasons. 1-2, and Lowe puts this one on the ground. Fletcher will go to second, and he just got it there in time. Well, that thing seemed to take forever to materialize, but Garcia erased on the fielder's choice.
Yeah, I wonder, Garcia looked back almost as if he was surprised that David Fletcher threw this ball to second base afterwards. And it was close, but Fletcher obviously felt like he had enough time, and he took that chance, and he got the lead runner. Nice play. He did get the good high hop and a quick turn. That was close.
So Lowe the base runner now, and Andy Ibanez will be the hitter.
Going back to what you were saying though about those splits for him, and it does make sense at least this year based on what we're seeing with Suarez. The good changeup, that is your neutralizing pitch as a left-hander more often than not against right-handed hitting. He doesn't have a great big breaking ball. Like we've seen it, he shows it, he'll throw it once in a while, but it hasn't necessarily been a pitch that has stuck out as anything that's real devastating. And that's probably why. It's more fastball changeup that gives lefties somewhat of a chance.
This one lined right up the middle to Fletcher. 2 away. Boy, off the bat, you're thinking, oh, that could really wreak some havoc in this inning, and then Fletcher's right there. 2 gone. DJ Peters coming up. We check in again with Sarah.
Just a little more insight on Peters as we get to know him. I was curious when he arrived yesterday if he made any immediate connections with guys in the clubhouse. We knew he already knew Chris Woodward from their time in the Dodgers organization, but he said, you know, it's so interesting because I played with a lot of these guys at all different levels of the league and the system, and it's good to come into a clubhouse where you have some connections already and not just go in blind. So it was a very warm welcome yesterday.
Yeah, that's nice. That helps a little bit. I've walked into clubhouses and not known a single person, and that can be a little bit uncomfortable. But you could also tell by his personality, even if he didn't know guys or at least have some history with Woody, it probably would not take him very long. It was pretty interesting to listen to today. And really, quite honestly, a handful of these new Rangers that we're getting to know here a little bit all seem to have some pretty solid personalities, and they're very excited to be in a Ranger uniform.
Yeah, well, and along those lines, I don't get the sense that DJ Peters is sneaking in into any room at 6'6", roughly, I don't know, 250 plus. He is a huge man. I was down there during batting practice today. You know, you get used to seeing certain guys, and the Rangers have had some really big lineups in recent years. Suarez deals low. You remember that? I think we were in Houston one day, and you and I were about to get on the elevator once, and the elevator doors opened up, and here came like Gallo, Guzzi, and Nomar Mazar. I'm like, good Lord, if you didn't know anybody, you'd think that an NBA team was staying at the hotel. So you get used to seeing guys like Gallo and those guys around the cage.
Yeah, the pitchers are getting shorter and the hitters
are getting bigger. I mean, he walked by me today at the cage. I thought, wow, he's enormous.
Well, what he said today, and the idea of kind of connecting early on, even though I haven't had a chance to talk to him, he and I connected. He doesn't know it, but we did. And the question was asked about the initials. No dots for him.
Yes.
I don't have a preference. I never put a few thoughts into it, but this is where he got me. He goes, I just hate when it's capital D, little j. I hate that too. Oh, he was speaking to me directly when he said that.
But that happens?
It happens all the time. That's what computers will do automatically.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of times if you're filling out a form and you just put DJ, you're going to get big D, little j. So you have to trick it sometimes with a space. If you're not a periods guy and you like to go by your initial name, then you have to go D space J space, and that'll get you usually the big J. Nobody likes a little J.
No, I think he speaks for everyone when he says he likes the big J. So Curtis Terry coming up now. Yeah, and so what was it? The other part of it was that
his middle name doesn't begin with J.
No, he's a junior. He's a junior, so that's where the J comes from. So it was all really interesting. He's on now, and Curtis Terry to the plate. Terry with 2 hits yesterday, another base hit today, and a breaking ball right in there for a strike. Well, the tying runs are aboard. It's low. DJ's name, Donald Scott Peters. His dad's name. So it goes by DJ. This one hit hard. Center field. Marsh goes back and he makes the play. And the inning is over. Boy, Curtis Terry looking really comfortable these days in the batter's box. The inning is done though. And we head to the 5th. It's 3-1.
Covers the show like MLB Network.
Put a star by that one.
Turn on baseball's best with over 200 live games all season.
Oh my goodness!
Catch live look-ins every night on MLB Tonight.
Oh baby!
Plus breakdowns and highlights of your team, my team, every team.
And gone!
Bring home our national pastime all the time. Only on MLB Network. Wake up for a full day of baseball on MLB Central, featuring an all-star lineup of hosts and a colorful cast of guests all season. The fun never stops on MLB Central. Weekday mornings 10 Eastern, only on MLB Network.
Angels on top. About our Choctaw marquee matchup tonight. Shohei Ohtani, he's 1 for 7 with 4 strikeouts against Lyles. So Jordan has him figured out a little bit. Last couple of starts for Lyles. A lot of strikeouts to the 4 walks. He's been pitching well. Today runs that one tight on Ohtani for ball 1. And he's gotten Ohtani to fly out and strike out so far in this one.
That's a good pitch too, because we've seen Jordan Lyles working Ohtani away, right? We saw the backdoor breaking ball that was called a strike, and so you do that, and here we go, third time through for Jordan Lyles. You just don't want hitters getting comfortable and seeing a pattern and leading out over the plate. So that was a nice job kind of pushing him off the plate with that first fastball.
Two and 1 the count. Well, it's 37 home runs, most in the league, and he smashes that one over first and down into the right field corner. Ohtani will have extra bases as he tiptoes into second with a leadoff double.
A breaking ball here from Jordan Lyles. Looked like they wanted to go backdoor. It finished inner third. And we know Ohtani opens up a lot. We know he spins off the baseball, and that's why he drives it out. And by the way, those are amazing batting gloves or base running gloves that he has in his back pocket. You see those, the clip those when he gets to second base. But he ripped it, and he also runs really well. That's the other part, right? The 15 stolen bases as he breaks out the hamburger helper gloves. Now you could get on board with those, right? Because your fingers are free.
Yeah, I'd feel a little more comfortable in those.
There we go.
This one lined to third base. Culberson is there, and Upton is the first out of the inning. Boy, another rocket. But for an out. The Ohtani double was 110 miles per hour. That one right there, 104 miles per hour by Upton. And so now Max Stassi, who has bounced back to the mound and struck out. He's 0 for 2. Rangers play Stassi fairly conventionally on the infield, and a breaking ball swung on and missed for a strike.
Yeah, the only thing you see different, you can see Andy Ibanez kind of behind Ohtani there a little bit, and you can also see Isaiah Kiner-Falefa dropping his defensive chart. But that, of course, is because Ohtani can run, and you do have to keep him close. Not just the idea of stealing a base, but also you don't want him getting too big of a secondary lead. You want to give yourself at least a little bit of a chance if you can. And he'll score on most base hits, but you don't want that lead to get too big. Those gloves are great.
I suppose they provide.
Oh, look how thick they are. Yeah,
protection.
So you know,
is the idea that you provide you protection if somebody were to step on your hands? Is that what?
Well, I don't know if they're that strong, but I think the idea of sliding in the extra padding in there. You know, I do that Saturday radio show with Ryan Spilborghs. He had a pair of those brand new that he brought back from Japan that we gave away during our break last year with COVID and not having games, and he and I were just messing around the internet giving away some old stuff that we had, and he gave away a pair of those brand new super puffy base running gloves. You can play lacrosse in those too, I think.
So
I mean, hockey.
Those are specifically designed for base running, and those are fairly commonplace in Japan. Is that what we?
Yeah, I mean he hadn't been there in almost a decade, so yeah, they've been around a while.
Stassi strikes out swinging, second out in the inning.
And second time for Jordan Lyles that he has struck out Stassi. Good breaking ball, gets him to expand the zone. We showed you, if you saw in the Valley Bar, but he's got good numbers with runners in scoring position. You know that's what he's thinking about, trying to put that ball in play and get that run in. Would that be the disappointing gift, you think? Like I mentioned, I told you my son wants the oven mitt. What if I brought him home the super fat gloves that nobody else has?
Ooh, I think that would be awesome.
I would, you and I would, because we're old. I think for kids are like, no, this is not what everybody else has. This is not what I wanted.
Which is why it's cooler.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work my way through the logic. I understand the mitts. I just don't know that I understand what it is those are trying to prevent. There's a bouncer up the middle. That's a base hit. Ohtani around third. Garcia sort of the plate is going to be cut off in front of the plate to throw to second in time, and they get Goslin to end the inning. Ohtani scores on the Goslin single, but he is out 8-2 to 6, and the inning is over. It's 4-1.
You want that home run feeling? Then step in the box and let it rip. Get ready for the Major League Baseball Junior Home Run Derby, powered by MLB Develops. Compete locally and swing your way to the 2021 Junior Home Run Derby Finals. Get your community involved by hosting a local derby. Sign up for free at jrhrd.com.
Push it down the third base line and end up at first base.
Relax and watch High Heat with Christopher Russo, only on MLB Network.
They just scored one in the top of that fifth inning, but a good defensive play here from the Rangers. It's a base hit with 2 outs. Ohtani's probably going to score, but Adolis Garcia does a good job of not missing his cutoff man, not going too high. But then it's Jose Trevino on the back end. What a great read that was by him to come off of the plate, come to the baseball, and get that throw to shortstop. And Dave and I just looked at each other because Goslin looked like he might have got that right foot in there.
Yep. Looks safe for me right there.
He may have been, but not challenged, thankfully. But that was a good read by Jose behind home plate. And a good job by, I saw Garcia, you see him charging hard. You know how badly he wants to have that assist.
He got one.
He did. Maybe not the one that he was anticipating, but it was a great job not to overthrow the cutoff man, not to go with a wild throw and just allow Goslin to get down to second base easily.
White takes a breaking ball for a strike. And now the changeup. He's in a hole 0-2. Eli White, Jose Trevino, and then Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in this fifth inning. Well, Rangers had a good opportunity last inning. They haven't had many against Suarez so far tonight, and that one is strike 3 called. White goes down looking, one away.
Pretty good looking changeup here. We've been talking about the Suarez changeup quite a bit. Now that one even cut back a little bit. Remember we showed you earlier when Garcia had one, and maybe not as much. But that's outer half of the plate, but located well down. And Eli White could not pull the trigger.
So now Trevino. He is 0 for 1 tonight with a strikeout. One bounces away from Stassi. Well, good defensive play by Jose last half inning. Let's see if he can chip in offensively here and help this team. A low scoring game so far. Although 4 runs for the Angels, they might be arguing otherwise. They've had trouble lately on the offensive side. 4 runs probably feels like a lot, and it is that funny number where it seems like a lot of teams differentiate wins and losses right around 4 runs per game. This one out to the gap in left center. That's down for Trevino for a base hit. He'll try for 2. He'll get it easily. A 1-out double for Jose, his 6th double this year.
We were talking earlier about the matchups for these catchers, and for Jose Trevino taking advantage of a opportunity against a left-handed pitcher. That's 93 miles an hour right down the middle. Look at that nice level swing from Jose as he drills this ball in the left field gap.
All right, so he's in scoring position for Isaiah. And he takes strike 1. Fastball from Suarez. IKF 0 for 2. Struck out looking his first time up. Hit a ball well to left his last time up and bounces this one back to Suarez. And Suarez has Trevino hung up. Trevino doing a good enough job, though, that Isaiah able to scramble in behind him and get to second base.
So that actually works out really well for the Rangers, right? Your first instinct is, well, was that great base running by Jose Trevino? Probably not as far as getting in that rundown, but he did an excellent job staying in the rundown. Now you get to trade places. You have a much better runner at second base, right? This was going to be a ground out to first anyway. So not that you would draw it up this way and intentionally do it, but watch Jose do a nice job of staying in this long enough to make sure Isaiah Kiner-Falefa could get to second base.
1-6-5, the fielder's choice. And now here's Culberson. Breaking ball fouled away. Strike 1. Charlie has struck out and grounded out tonight. Rangers have won 3 straight. Their longest winning streak this season is 4. So they have a chance today to tie that if they could pull off a victory here. But they're going to need some late inning magic to do so, it would appear anyway. 0-2 the count. Mentioning the 4-run dividing line for a lot of teams. The Angels, when they score 4 or more this year, the Angels have gone 47-17. When they can't quite get to 4 runs in a game, they're generally speaking unable to pitch their way to a low scoring win. They're 5-37 when scoring 3 or fewer. So their 4th run today, a big one, puts them in a very good position. That's in the dirt, 1-2. Well, if Culberson can find his way on, it would get Adolis Garcia to the plate. We're not looking for Culberson to knock one out, really. That's not a big part of his game. He can do it, but not why he's in the lineup. He's in the lineup to keep things moving and see if you can get Garcia up there with a spot to do some real damage. In the dirt, Stassi keeps it close enough. Isaiah won't move.
So that was one of those breaking balls, as I mentioned. We just haven't seen that many of them from Suarez tonight. He did strike out Jose Trevino on one of those earlier. A back foot breaking ball almost did catch Charlie Culberson in his back foot.
All right, 2-2 the count. Suarez now up over 70 pitches for the night. He's only gone into the 80s twice this year, and this one lined foul. On 2 occasions he's thrown 88 pitches in a start. So he's not likely to go a whole lot further tonight.
I would agree. 5th start of the season for him. I mentioned it earlier. He's pitched in 13 games overall, but the last 4 have come as a starter.
2-2 in the dirt again. Well, he's only issued 1 walk, and that was to DJ Peters last inning. A walk here could be very big. Four runs, 6 hits for the Angels, 1 run on 4 hits for the Rangers. Here's the payoff. Oh, strike 3 called. A good fastball right in the bottom third of the zone. And Suarez gets himself out of any trouble in the 5th. 6th inning coming up, still 4-1.
The ballpark is better when we're all here together. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Join the team and help us all get back to doing what we love together.
No one covers the show like MLB Network.
Put a star by that one.
Turn on baseball's best with over 200 live games all season.
Oh my goodness!
Catch live look-ins every night on MLB Tonight.
Oh baby!
Plus breakdowns and highlights of your team, my team, every team.
And gone!
Bring home our national pastime all the time. Only on MLB Network.
See now the Yankees 7 back. You got a lot of teams in that division that feel like they're in the mix. The Rays have suffered some injuries. Red Sox getting Chris Sale back. Yankees have loaded up for the run. That's interesting.
They got some issues. Garrett Cole on the COVID IL. Jordan Montgomery on the COVID IL. And they brought in Andrew Heaney from these Angels right here. Kind of really just as some inventory to have some starting pitching to help out down the stretch. He had a rough one, giving up 4 home runs in his first game. The Yankees got their hands full.
Bouncer left side of the infield for Culberson, and he will throw out Adele. 1 away here in the 6th inning. Well, it's a fun place to be these days. Rangers play well at home, and the Rangers and Coca-Cola are hoping that you and your family will come out to the ballpark this summer. You get 4 tickets as well as $80 in concessions value. This offer is only good for home games Sunday through Friday. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials. Jordan Lyles deals down low, ball 1 to Jose Iglesias, and Lyles about to hit triple digits and pitches for the night. He's had some tough ones. He had that 3rd inning where he had to use 32 pitches in the inning.
He always seems to find a way, though, right? I mean, even when he's struggling a little bit, or you think he might be near the end earlier in a game, finds a way to get through it and has the tendency to get a little bit deeper. Of course, the 124 pitches that he threw, which seems like 150 from a decade ago, was a big deal.
This one lined softly out to right field by Iglesias. His first hit of the night. Angels have a base runner.
By the way, you heard Rick Renner mention that Joey Gallo was 0 for 4 tonight. It's 2 for 19 to start that Yankee career. Does have a couple of doubles and made a really nice play in left field. I gotta tell you, I find myself kind of tracking our guys, seeing how they're doing, checking box scores.
No doubt. No doubt. You want to see how it's going for him. And for Joey, it's been a slow start out there in New York.
Joely had a little bit of a rough one his first game with the Yankees. Give up a couple of runs. It's a nice swing.
That's
interesting.
We've seen a couple of those tonight. Some guesswork swings. Iglesias had one in the second inning. Marsh right there. 0 for 1 with a walk in tonight's game. One and one. Now Iglesias, a veteran player over there at first base. He will still occasionally run. He has 4 steals this year. Angels have been aggressive on the bases tonight, and that's, I think, been a part of their attack against Jordan Lyles. Up and out. No. On the corner. Strike 2. So the rookie back in there. Lyles checks in on Iglesias. That is his B+ move.
Like I said, no pickoffs this year. He does have 6 in his career. But it's been mostly the show me move tonight. Now, he's never allowed 4 stolen bases in a game. He's allowed 3 tonight.
Runner goes, and that one's fouled away.
My point, I guess, there is that if you were ever going to see the A move, it seems like tonight would be the night. They've been aggressive, 3 stolen bases so far. Or perhaps a couple more slide steps, trying to be a little bit quicker to the plate. There's a lot of different ways to counteract when you have a team that's aggressive with their base running.
Iglesias not going this time, and again it's popped in the air foul. And it finds its way to the seats. And they are making Lyles work, and Dennis Santana has started to loosen up out there. Well, he could use a ground ball right now. Lyles wants to get out of this inning. Now the 1-2. Runner goes again. This one lined out towards center field. Well struck. Garcia can't get to it, and it bounces up against the fence. Iglesias had to pause. He's now around third. Here comes the throw from Iglesias. Oh, pardon me, from Ibanez, and it's in time. And they got him. Another outfield assist for Adolis Garcia, his second of the ninth this year.
I got to tell you, you and I make fun of the outfielders when they kind of fake like they're going to catch a ball. I think it actually worked there for Adolis Garcia, and Iglesias making his way around the bases. They're going to challenge this call. You're going to see Ibanez on the relay make a really nice strong throw to Jose Trevino, and yeah, I'm surprised they're going to challenge this. But watch Adolis Garcia here do a nice job again. Second time where he comes in, he hits a cutoff man, no hesitation from Ibanez. The other thing is, look where Brian Butterfield is, their third base coach. He was way down the line as I was kind of watching him and keeping an eye on Iglesias. I was like, where's your third base coach? He was almost at home himself.
Yeah, he was with Lyles. He's backing up the play.
That was an interesting challenge.
Yeah, it was.
I wondered if they, I didn't see it there either, but if they were thinking, blocking home plate potentially, but that wasn't the case either.
So 8-4-2 put out at the plate. Really good relay from Ibanez. Marsh out at second with 2 out. Mayfield now the hitter. He's 0 for 2. Even Butterfield now, when you look at his positioning over there at third base.
That's absurd. I don't think that's advantageous unless he just really wants to get out of the way of the hitter.
Ball 1 to Mayfield. That one's off the plate. Seems like every now and then those coaches' boxes become an issue.
So take a look at this. Everything we're seeing here. There goes Iglesias. He's on the move, but watch Adolis Garcia give the fake a little bit, and that caused Iglesias, I think, just to hesitate, just for a half a second, and that half a second made all the difference in the world. There's Butterfield, right by Jordan Lyles, as you mentioned, backing up the play. That's kind of a good look at everything that we were talking about. A lot happening on that play, and there's Brian Butterfield again. I guess those lines are just a suggestion.
I feel like they crack down on that every now and again. Hey, you guys, umpires start enforcing that a little bit, keep guys closer. All right, now that ball well hit, by the way, by Mayfield, and it is gone. Mayfield's 5th home run of the year, and just when it looked like Lyles might get out of the inning, that is a big 2-run homer, makes it 6-1 Angels. That is a tough one. Lyles has had a difficult time with a home run ball this year. Number 26 allowed by Jordan, and that does it. So he's done, and the Rangers are into that bullpen a little earlier than they had hoped.
You didn't see me, but I was there. I've been part of every rivalry, every dynasty, every game, set, match. I've been on the backs of champions, smashed world records, and I was even there for your personal best. I am synthetic fabric, and I am made from crude oil.
Nerds! Have new money goals? NerdWallet can help you find the credit card to make them happen. Want to earn enough points for a weekend of fancy camping? We have options for that. Maybe have a better credit card than your older sister. We have comparison tools for that. Or find a card that lets you donate your cash back to food banks. We have tips for that too. From low rates to the best rewards, easily discover and compare the smartest credit cards. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds.
That man wiping his face off is Jack Mayfield, who just took Jordan Lyles deep. We'll take a look at the pitch, and 84 miles an hour slider that was up in the zone. Mayfield all over it after a really good defensive play from the Rangers, and it looked like an opportunity to get out of this inning. Unfortunately, Jordan Lyles could not finish it off, and so that means Chris Woodward goes into his bullpen. That ball was hit well. It's been quite a journey for Jack Mayfield this year. A lot of bouncing around for him. He started the spring training in Florida with the Astros, spent 1 day there, and got designated, ended up with the Mariners, or the Angels, and the Mariners, back to the Angels, AAA, big leagues, all of it. He's been all over the place as Dennis Santana now takes over. It'll be his 29th game of the season for the hard-throwing right-hander. 4.91 ERA, 21 strikeouts to 18 walks, so the walks a little bit high so far And those are the combined numbers for Santana between the Rangers and the Dodgers.
All right, and now Santana's first pitch to David Fletcher misses for a ball. Fletcher 2 for 3 today. All 6 of the Angels' runs have scored with 2 out in the inning. There's a strike. 1-1 on Fletcher. It was a 3-run third inning, a run in the 5th, 2 so far here in the 6th. And a breaking ball. Did he go? Yes, he did. That's strike 2. Nick Marley down there at first base. Rung him up. The pitch itself was actually pretty good. This one on the ground, first base. Lowe has it. Gives it to Santana, and he wins the foot race. So Fletcher retired. The inning is done, but the Angels add a couple more. It's now a 6-1 Angels lead.
Nerds. Have new money goals? NerdWallet can help you find the mortgage lender to make them happen. Like getting a low rate on a downtown loft? We can help find the right lender. Or move out of the city since you're virtual now? We can find you loans for that. Want to refinance your home, free up cash, and redo your kitchen/home office? Yup, we've got tips for that too. Whether you refi or buy, easily discover and compare the smartest mortgage lenders. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds.
A lot can happen with a simple tell your story. Get people excited. To get connected, to share, and sell anywhere, and start making a different future. Start different at GoDaddy.com.
For the Angels now as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Heart of the order coming for the Rangers. Garcia, Lowe, and Ibanez against Suarez. I thought maybe Suarez would start the opener yesterday. Instead, ended up being Chris Rodriguez making his first big league start, and he was really good. Suarez got an extra day. He's been pretty sharp. And of course, a lot of what's going on with the Angels is predicated on when can Shohei Ohtani pitch. Well, he'll start tomorrow. And I guess going back even several days ago, it looked like maybe Shohei would have started the opener on Monday. But due to kind of a funky injury that popped up out of nowhere, he got pushed back a few days. Garcia goes after strike 2. It's 0-2 on Adolis. Adolis struck out the first time up, singled his last time against Suarez, who had 6 strikeouts tonight, 1 short of his career high. That stays 0-2. Now, I'm not in a position to tell anybody what to do with their lives. But if you're one of those people who've been hanging around and saying, like, yeah, I need to go see the ballpark. at some point this year. Maybe I'll go catch a game. Maybe been putting it off. This one lined over third. That's a base hit for Garcia, and he's going to try for 2. Here comes a throw, not in time. Adele gets in there with a leadoff double.
A little reminiscent of what we saw in the All-Star game, but really for Ranger fans what they have seen all season long from Garcia. Just flat out gets after it. Change up here. Not a bad one at all. Elevated a little bit, but it's on the corner, and Garcia goes out and he hooks this thing in the left field. And he's always thinking a base ahead. He knows the outfielders, who has the really strong arms, who doesn't. Upton does not have a particularly strong arm these days. Averaging just 83 miles an hour on his hardest throws this year. And so Garcia was all about it, all over that double. So you were saying commanding everyone come to the ballpark?
Well, again, I hate being too bossy. Nathaniel Lowe, the hitter, bounces this one right side of the infield, and Fletcher takes care of him, and that is out number 1. Garcia over to third. But if you've been sort of thinking about it and just kind of looking for that right time to come out, you might want to rearrange things tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, Ohtani's pitching, and I don't know. It's just there aren't many opportunities to catch a guy as unique and talented as he is doing his thing. And tomorrow is that opportunity, tomorrow night. So,
and they've been letting him hit right in his starts. So you get to see both, right? And we first saw him, he wouldn't hit the day before, during the game, or the day after a lot of times when he was pitching. But now we get to see all of it. I'm with you, and I think there are very few players, when you think about visiting players, right? If you're a fan of the home team, that you really would say, oh, let's go this night to see this guy, right? There's some pitchers, I think, around the league, and obviously Ohtani I would put in that category as well. There's times where you want to see teams.
This ball hit well deep down the left field line. It is gone. Ibanez made a great defensive play and now knocks out a 2-run homer. I think it's the Rangers back in it. 6-3.
Andy Ibanez continues to punish left-handed pitching. And how about that young fan right there? The baseball in the glove. That's certainly an amazing moment. Some Indians fans lost their way, but we'll take them anyway. It's a memory nonetheless. 14 fastball from Suarez, and up and in. And Andy Ibanez, we talk about how he opens up a little bit, and sometimes that can get him in trouble. But opening up that front side also allows him to get to a pitch like that. And he crushes it into those left field seats.
Now DJ Peters. And he'll take right on the outside corner for a strike. Peters with a base hit and a walk in his Rangers debut. Suarez deals low and outside. 1-1. Peters was a 4th-round pick in 2016 at a Western Nevada college, and he had risen to very high prospect status in the Dodgers system. He takes outside 2-1, and really it would seem to be one of those really lucky strokes that he happened to come available via waivers on Monday. Rangers were quick to jump in there and grab him. And he had played in 18 games with the Dodgers already, so he made his big league debut, but in 3 different stints. So it's been hard for him to get his feet underneath him at the big league level. Anyway, Rangers very excited to have him. Let's check in with Sarah.
Well, along the same lines of a really surprising fact that he was available, Woody mentioned that he has always targeted DJ as one of the guys that he wants to get on this team just because of the makeup of his character and how cerebral of a player he is. So, in all honesty, he said, yeah, I was really surprised, and we jumped on that opportunity.
It's what happens with organizations that run really deep. That 40-man roster gets filled up pretty quickly. And we know the Dodgers were active at the trade deadline, so they had players that they had to add, which means they have to take some chances and put some players on waivers. And whenever that happens, you always kind of keep your fingers crossed and hope that player clears. But the Rangers were ready and all over it, and this is a perfect time to get a look at a guy like this and to see what he can do. Steady run of playing time. He's been kind of a low batting average, high power guy at the big league level. He's got a lot of power in that bat. But the Rangers can afford to give him a good steady look to see what he can do against some big league pitching, and also how he works with the hitting coaches and what adjustments they may ask him to make.
It's a full count. Bases are empty in the 6th inning. Suarez has pitched awfully well tonight, and yet he has opened the door just a little bit here in the 6th inning. The Rangers getting back into it on the Ibanez home run. Soft flare, and Fletcher able to reel it in, and that is out number 2. He had the check swing single. It looked like he might get a broken bat flare to fall in there as well, but it's only so much luck one guy can ask for.
Yeah, jam shot here. Good read by Fletcher right away. As soon as he saw that ball was hit, got a good jump on it, and he needed every bit of that jump to be able to catch that baseball.
Well, that'll do it for Suarez. He's done. And so the Angels bullpen will have it the rest of the way. 2 out, 6th inning in a 3-run game.
A lot can happen with a simple tell your story. Get people excited. To get connected, to share, and sell anywhere, and start making a different future. Start different at GoDaddy.com.
Against a team that's got a bunch of right-handers.
Relax and watch High Heat with Christopher Russo, only on MLB Network.
It is gone!
Every time he steps up to the plate, goes into his windup, or runs one down.
He caught it! Oh, you won't see a better one than that!
He competes not only against the other team, but against the toughest adversary, himself. MLB Tonight, where the best outdo their best on MLB Network.
Sports is brought to you by Frontier Fiber Optic Gig Service Internet, the fastest way to surf, shop, and game.
Well, Andy Ibanez has gotten the Rangers back into it with that 2-run homer moments ago, and largely responsible for Suarez and his evening coming to a close. That's the first real look at that here today. Junior Guerra has come on now out of the bullpen for the Angels.
We'll take a look at the numbers for the right-hander. This will be his 29th game of the season. Got 38 strikeouts to 31 walks. Another high walk total here for a guy with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
Right on the dot.
Yeah. You know, kind of watching Suarez in the dugout there a little bit. He had a little bit of a Bartolo Colon feel to him. You know, the body language, the build.
Late career, Bartolo Colon.
Good point, yeah. Fast forward.
It's pretty relaxed.
Yeah, he sure is. I wonder what he's thinking right there.
Well, Terry's had some good passes tonight, and he golfs this one straight up in the air out into center field. Marsh gets to it, and that ends the inning.
The Rangers get some runs on the board thanks to Andy Ibanez. And the great power, fastball up and in, not an issue for the Rangers second baseman tonight. Big home run to left field. The Rangers trail by 3.
I'm Lorenzo Cain, and you can catch me robbing home runs on MLB Tonight.
I'm Bill Ripken, and you can catch me talking about those robbed home runs on MLB Tonight.
MLB Tonight, where baseball's best players are side by side with TV's best baseball analysts.
1, 2, 3. Wake up for a full day of baseball on MLB Central. Featuring an all-star lineup of hosts.
Let's rock, baby.
Teeing up baseball's biggest news and stories with a little style.
This is waiting for you right here.
Can we record that?
Joined by a colorful cast of guests all season long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it does look good on camera.
Most likely to avoid paying the dinner bill.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
The fun never stops on MLB Central. Weekday mornings, 10 Eastern. Only on MLB Network.
Score there, 6-3 Angels leading the Rangers right now. And Andy Ibanez, big home run. How about a little StatCast data? Always powered by Google Cloud. Nearly 400 feet and a launch angle of 31 degrees. And probably more importantly is that Andy Ibanez continues to punish some left-handed pitching.
Well, he's made it a little more interesting too in the late innings here. 7th inning.
You know, we'll see the random jerseys from different teams, right? That was a whole row of, or a whole family of Indians fans. They all put their Indian gear on. Maybe they got some bad information on who the Rangers are playing tonight.
Just dedicated fans of their team. Here's a ground ball over to the right side. Ibanez gets out to it, throws it back to first, but not in time. Not sure if Lowe missed the bag or if it was just late.
Yeah, it looked like Nick Marley made the call that he was actually off the bag, which seemed a little bit surprising. Now with Shohei Ohtani and that great speed, he's going to put some pressure on the defense, so perhaps that is what happened. The Rangers taking a look at it. It's a little bit of an awkward angle. Andy Ibanez has to wait till Nate Lowe gets there, and let's see. Yeah, that's a tough call. Oh yeah, he's safe. It's a good look at it right there. As Nate Lowe started to step back a little bit more, you can see Shohei Ohtani getting the bag first.
So Ohtani on base to lead off the 7th inning. Justin Upton takes low. 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Talked about Ohtani's base running, 15 steals this year. He's not going anywhere. 2-0 on Upton. Easy to get distracted by all the big offensive numbers. 1st in homers, 3rd in triples, 2nd in RBIs, 1st in extra base hits. All that stuff for Ohtani. Also top 10 in the league in stolen bases. He was named the American League Player of the Month for July, which was really not much of a surprise or a contest. He pretty much dominated that, as he did in June. And so went back-to-back months as the Player of the Month in the American League. And it's been a while since somebody had done that. That's outside by Santana, 3-0. Josh Hamilton did it back in 2012 with the Rangers. That was one torrid stretch that he was on. Ohtani, man, it's pretty consistent. 3-0 outside, that's ball 4, and Upton is bored. So an infield hit, sort of, and a walk.
Yeah, so that gets me wondering a little bit, thinking about back-to-back years. It should be back-to-back months of winning American League MVP, and then how often does that player end up actually winning MVP? It didn't happen very often, but even to win it multiple times in a year. You mentioned Josh Hamilton in 2012. He finished 5th that year in MVP, despite the fact that he won it in back-to-back months. Of course, his MVP season came a couple of years before that in 2010. I wonder, the most, or even the most times, is it possible that a player ever won 3 Player of the Month but never the MVP, right?
I wonder if anybody's ever won it 3 times in a year period, right? Forget whatever happened after that.
Yeah.
But 3 months out of the year as Player of the Month in the league.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seems like a little unlikely.
Well, Shohei Ohtani's got a chance for sure. Now I wonder with him how often, as we had the MVP conversation earlier, how often does just his pitching, just enough of it, kind of put him over the top? You know, if he's having an okay year offensively or an okay month offensively, but he made 3 or 4 starts that month and he won a couple of games. I wonder if that just kind of, I know they do the pitcher of the month separately,
right?
But I wonder if that propels him a little bit too.
Well, when I was looking at the numbers for pitcher of the month, I kind of think he would have won that had he made enough starts. He'd only made 3 starts in the month, and I think the most we saw were like 5 starts. Yeah, but it's a big difference.
Yeah, Jameson Taillon ended up winning it, and he had a pretty big month.
4-0. Sub-2 ERA. There's a pickoff back at second. Ohtani dives back there with those very safe gloves. Checking his surroundings and joking around a little bit there with Andy Ibanez. Almost tricked him. 1-0. That's a good fastball. 95 right in there for a strike. So, other accomplishments. How about a 5-1 record, an ERA just above 3 in his 15 starts with 100 strikeouts. And maybe the biggest note, that first player ever selected to an All-Star team as both a pitcher and a position player this year. 1-1. That's downstairs. Well, Stassi has had a quiet night. He's in the cleanup spot, 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. But he's in a spot here where I don't want to say that he could put the game away. I think that's maybe a bit of a stretch, but he could go a long way toward icing this one for the Angels. And he takes low, 3-1. Big spot for Dennis Santana. He got the final out last inning, and then the Rangers came up with a couple of runs of support right behind him. Outfield not real deep, especially in center field. Garcia seems like he's pulled in a little bit. Pitch to Stassi. That one is in there. That's a full count.
surprising for Max Stassi. I mean, that pitch wasn't even close. That had plenty of strike zone. I know that Dennis Santana, a little bit of an issue here getting the ball in the strike zone consistently. They were set up in, but that had plenty of plate.
Time called. I think a strikeout would work well for Santana. He'd also take a ground ball. He's got to throw a strike, 3-2, and that misses. So he's loaded him up. Back-to-back walks. And he has not retired a batter yet in the inning.
We've talked about the Santana slider in the past, as we're going to see Doug Mathis get on that bullpen phone and get an arm going. I mean, it's a good pitch. It's just not ideal to have that outside of the strike zone or even shooting corners when you have that 3-2 count. And for a guy like Santana, where he starts that slider against righties, like he has a real opportunity to start it almost behind a right-handed hitter, and that pitch will still finish in the strike zone.
Well, now the infield forced to come in, and Santana delivers a little bit low. Gosselin's had a real nice game so far. He's driven in 2 runs. He's 2 for 3. And he flares this one out to right field. That gets Ohtani to the plate. Upton stopped at third. And so it's an RBI single by Gosselin, his 3rd of the night. And he makes it 7-3.
Take a look at the 2-seam fastball. This one didn't have quite as much run. That's just a really nice job by Gosselin to keep his hands in, not trying to do too much. You mentioned the infield was in, so you're just looking to get the ball down through that infield one way or another, and just putting the ball in play.
Still loaded, Joe Adele in his first game of the season with the Angels. It's already driven in 2. And the 2-run double in the 3rd inning. He's also walked. And Santana's 1-0 pitch. Finds the corner. And maybe got a little extra that time too. So
yeah, again, it goes back to, for me, where he starts that pitch. I mean, maybe you caught the corner, maybe it was a little bit off, but the amount of horizontal break that he gets on his slider is something that's pretty special. He just got to figure out a way to get consistent command of it.
Well, this ball ripped over shortstop into left field. That's a base hit. Upton scores. Again, they'll go station to station. And it's 8-3. Still nobody out. And that'll do it. Woody's seen enough. He heads out. Brett Martin had been loosening in the bullpen, likely to come on next. 8-3, Angels on top. Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is brought to you by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better. And
I'm Lorenzo Cain, and you can catch me robbing home runs on MLB Tonight.
I'm Bill Ripken, and you can catch me talking about those robbed home runs on MLB Tonight.
MLB Tonight, where baseball's best players are side by side with TV's best baseball analysts.
Cliff, how do you know how much bling to wear before each game?
What bling you wear during the game is a very important decision. You want to wear enough so you look good, but not too much where it slows you down on the base pass. Some diamonds are always nice, but on a sunny day, the reflection can get in your eye and make you miss a play.
Thanks, Cliff. Very informative.
The analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions. Only on MLB Network.
to you by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better. And Choctaw Casino and Resort Durant, expanding August 2021. Stakes raised. All right, well, it's 8-3 Angels, and they have the bases loaded, nobody out in this 7th inning, so an unfavorable spot for Brett Martin, but he is on here nonetheless.
Yeah, for Brett Martin, too, it's been a pretty consistent season. This will be his 45th game of the year, 3.73 ERA, 41 innings pitched, 4 home runs allowed. You see the 28 strikeouts there. It's 2 seam fastballs, slider, 4-seamer, and a curveball. And the splits, well, they've been pretty good against lefties. 203 has been the batting average, just a 504 OPS. However, the righties, 320 so far this year against Martin, with an 831 OPS, that on base plus slugging.
All right, well, his first pitch to Iglesias, and that one bends right in there for a strike. Iglesias had a base hit in the 6th inning. 1 for 3 tonight. An Angels team that had really struggled to score runs recently. And they figured it out tonight. Inside 1-1. They've scored 8 runs on 12 hits.
Do you have those inherited numbers for Brett Martin? I don't have that in front of me. I'm thinking about him. You get a bases loaded, nobody out situation. Almost seems a little bit unfair for guys and trying to limit damage, but
up the middle, and there's a great stop by Ibanez back there behind second base. They'll get the out at second, but the wild throw from Kiner Falefa allows a second run to score. So the out of Adele is the first out of the inning. The 2 runs are in.
Well, great play here by Ibanez. We've seen him do some pretty good glove work over there at second base. Ball looked like it jumped up on Nate Lowe. It was a long hop. Good backhand, good glove flip. And nice footwork, really, by Isaiah. But watch the high hop that got over the glove of Nate Lowe.
And that error allows the second run to score. You get an RBI for Iglesias on the fielder's choice. But Gosselin's run scores on the error. A man at first, and Brandon Marsh, the hitter. Anyway, it was 13 of 29.
Yeah.
So that goes up a little bit.
So yeah, now he's 15 of, I'd say 29, so 15 of 32. League average usually will come in, say, around 30% or so. But Brett Martin, the reason that you like him in this spot, it's a tough spot. Bases loaded, nobody out. You'd love to be able to come in and get a bunch of strikeouts. But what he does well is he keeps the ball on the ground. He throws strikes. And he got the ground ball, even though it was hit right up the middle. It almost was a double play.
Well, a strikeout of Marsh is the second out of the inning. Let's pause a moment for Kia.
It's summer, so wherever you get out and go, you can count on a Kia to take you there.
4 runs in the inning. 10-3. Angels on top. Jack Mayfield, the batter. And that one is off the plate for ball 1. It's the most runs for the Angels since June 30th. They scored 11 runs against the Yankees in an 11-8 win. I was talking earlier that the last 7 games they were averaging 2.3 runs per game. I mean, it would have been tough. Yesterday held to a run. They were shut out a couple of times in their previous series with Oakland. That one slashed foul. Well, maybe they're getting all of it out of their system in one night. Sometimes we talk about run allocation and whether it's good or bad. Depending on how this one ends up, who knows? Rangers may push it a little bit toward the end of this one, but at current, it looks like they have scored
a few more than they need. Little tapper back toward the mound. And Brett Martin will make the easy underhand toss first to get Mayfield. The inning is done. A 4-run inning, though, for the Angels. Stretch time, and it's 10-3 Los Angeles.
Everywhere you go, everything you do, you can always take the game with you. And you can bring your friends.
No one covers the show like MLB Network.
Put a star by that one.
Turn on baseball's best with over 200 live games all season.
Oh my goodness!
Catch live look-ins every night on MLB Tonight.
Oh baby!
Plus breakdowns and highlights of your team, my team, every team.
And gone!
Bring home our national pastime all the time. Only on MLB Network.
And a couple of long balls here tonight at Globe Life Field. First, Jack Mayfield for the big home run against Jordan Lyles into the left field seats, and then Andy Ibanez against the lefty Suarez, nearly identical spot that he hit his home run. And Ibanez continues, as we mentioned earlier, to terrorize some of these left-handed pitchers that he has seen this year. Gosselin's got 3 hits with 3 RBIs. Mentioned the 2-run home run by Jack Mayfield. And Garcia, a couple of more outfield assists. He continues to play really good defense, does Adolis Garcia, with the Rangers trailing big right now, 10-3 against the Angels.
All right, some time left offensively for the Rangers. Eli White will lead it off here. And he takes ball 1 from Junior Guerra. Rangers got a run in the 2nd inning, 2 runs in the 6th. White lined out to center field his first time up. Struck out his last time in, and he takes a strike here. It's 1-1. Interesting, Eli was moved today into left field. DJ Peters joining the team today, and Woody wanted to put him in the lineup. He wanted to put him in right field. And it was a struggle for him to figure out how to do that with the least amount of consternation among the rest of his outfielders. There is a ground out to third for White, 1 away. And so what he did was he moved Adolis Garcia back over to center field. He didn't want to make Adolis go all the way across the diamond and try left field, seeing as he really hadn't done that this year. So he put Garcia back into center field, and that displaced White back into left, which is it's so funny because White had been kind of named the everyday center fielder.
I guess we got to get a feel for DJ Peters and his defense and the arm and where he plays best. Obviously, as you mentioned, if Woody wanted him in right field, perhaps he believes that's his best defensive outfield position. Eli White can play all 3 of them, and he can play the infield as well. And you know, we have talked about this in the past, just the idea of Garcia and what position he plays defensively, but that great arm and all the assists that we've seen from him this year. We saw it with Joey Gallo when he was in center field. There is a value of having a good arm out there, and that more often than not means that you don't see as many runners go first to third. He's also thrown guys out at home, so perhaps that one ends up working out pretty well. Maybe he stays there because of the arm. We'll see.
2-1 to Trevino, who doubled his last time. 1 for 2 today. Rangers won the opener yesterday, trailing in a pretty big way here tonight in Game 2. It will be a 4-game series. Thursday will be an afternoon tilt. 2-2. And that will also wrap up the homestand. Rangers will hit the road after the series with the Angels. They are staying in division, though, for quite a little stretch. They go to Oakland and Seattle, back home for more games against division foes. This one popped up. Foul ground, third base side, and Stassi makes the play relatively easily. 2 gone. So with 2 games remaining, we talked a little bit about tomorrow and Shohei Ohtani getting the start against Colby Allard. It's a 7:05 first pitch. Thursday again, a 1:05 first pitch. Dylan Bundy for the Angels, and we'll be excited to see Spencer Howard making his Rangers debut. He's the big prospect the Rangers got from the Phillies in that deal that sent Kyle Gibson and Ian Kennedy to Philadelphia.
I'm with you on that one. I'm looking forward to seeing that with Spencer Howard. Now, it's not going to be a full start. What he said, maybe one time through the order, a little bit more than that. So perhaps they get a couple of innings. 3 probably would be nice. But just to get a first look at him, he seems extremely excited to be in a Ranger uniform.
It's a good word to use.
What's
with
that?
him.
Yeah.
You know, excited.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was all smiles during that introductory press conference. And I hadn't seen it. I saw it in the construction phase, but as far as kind of the pitching lab and the weight room and everything, what it looked like when it was completely done. And because what we're hearing from players when they first step into this building and get the behind the scenes look at all the amenities that the players have, just seems like guys are really impressed and love this facility. And the more that word kind of gets out, more and more this is going to become a attractive destination for players.
I'll tell you, even opposing teams. You know, Brian Butterfield, I was talking to him yesterday, and his eyes were wide, talking about just how beautiful it is, even for a visiting team. Same with AJ Hinch. A number of the coaches and managers for visiting teams have made a point of saying, like, man, this is it's a pretty cool place to come play. I think they all enjoy it, and those teams who used to maybe kind of dread coming and spending 3-4 days in the searing heat, and now they don't have to, and it changes their attitude quite a little bit coming to town. And you could argue that there was an old advantage maybe to that, but I don't think these Rangers players mind too much either.
Definitely not this time of year, especially. It's like you don't even realize it's sweltering hot. I know it's been pretty decent here lately, but we know what August can be like.
Kind of Falefa stays alive here. Wearing a sweatshirt in Arlington. It's a brave new world. Got to bundle up.
It's been quite the ride for him, Shohei Ohtani's interpreter.
Payoff to Kiner Falefa. This one off the end of the bat. Guerra comes down the mound, throws high to first, but it's in time. And they get Isaiah. It's a 1-2-3 7th inning. 8th inning on the way. It's 10-3.
No one covers the show like MLB Network.
Put a star by that one.
Turn on baseball's best with over 200 live games all season.
Oh my goodness!
Catch live look-ins every night on MLB Tonight.
Oh baby!
Plus breakdowns and highlights of your team, my team, every team.
And gone!
Bring home our national pastime all the time. Only on MLB Network.
To the track, to the wall. He made the catch.
Catch your team.
Oh, what a play!
My team.
He lifts and makes the catch.
Every team.
As good as it gets.
Only on MLB Network.
And just missed making the catch.
You got to be all over those right now, paying attention as a fan. Some big home runs from Miguel Cabrera. Who would want to catch number 500 and then give it to him? Of course, right?
For sure. Here we go, 8th inning, and this one lined out to right field, and DJ Peters makes the catch, one away. And we check in again with Sarah.
Well, as we continue to talk about the growth and the young development of this Rangers organization, Josh Young has been one of the guys that the Rangers continue to talk about being very pleased with him this season and his trajectory to get up here and make an impact. Obviously, the foot injury early on was a little bit of a setback, but Chris Young said it's been fun watching him, and they're making sure he's 100% ready before he can really advance. But as you take a look at some of the things he's done over there in Double-A Frisco, he's killing it, and they're excited to have him up here.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder, what's next. I think, as most fans do, when do you want to make that move? Obviously, not having a season last year in 2020, and then the injury that Sarah mentioned, it slows the development down significantly, although he said he really benefited from the alternate site training a year ago. But I wonder what the philosophy is. And listen, he doesn't have to go to AAA. We'll see what the Rangers ultimately decide to do step by step, but I would assume that he would before we would see him at the big league level.
We may not end up seeing him at all this year. That's certainly a possibility. Ground ball, right side of the infield. Ibanez is up with it quickly and throws out Ohtani. 2 away. I know fans will be interested, borderline clamoring for it. I mean, I think we all kind of are. But we'll wait and see. Got to make the best decision for him and for the franchise going forward. Angels are getting a look at some younger guys as we take a look at a veteran here in Justin Upton. But you want to be careful sometimes how quickly you move guys along.
No, I'm with you. I'm just really impatient because you do get excited. And right now the Rangers, based on the trades, the draft, and the way things have gone, they're progressing very nicely. And we knew this a couple of years ago, right, when we started talking about the Rangers system and John Daniels, so that, well, most of these pitchers are at the lower levels. We're starting to see that kind of come to fruition here a little bit. And there's guys, and like you said, you do have to be careful. There's guys you want to get a look at because we're anxious to see them and see where the future might be headed with some of the Rangers' own. But we've seen plenty of guys come up and struggle, and I can tell you, speaking from experience, it can be a little detrimental if you struggle earlier. Maybe if you're in the big leagues a little bit quicker than you should be.
You think that was an issue for you?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, you hate to admit it. You don't like admitting it. But to be honest and kind of reflect, I didn't even have a full year in the minor leagues before I first got called up. So I think I probably could have used one in retrospect, because the big thing is the failure, right? You can have some success, had some early success, first few starts went pretty well, and then the failure, and then you've never failed on a bigger stage in your life. Now I think we also have some really good mental skills, practices, and coaches in place, so I think that helps a little bit. But that's the part that you have to work through. I mean, Jared Kelenic, I think, is a good example of a guy who he was convinced he was ready. He pretty much told the world that he was ready with the Seattle Mariners, and he struggled mightily and still is a little bit. I know he's starting to come around, and the Rangers just got another look at him with the Seattle Mariners. But you could see the difference in his face and his body language when all of a sudden he got humbled and realized how hard it was. So I'm with you. And you never know exactly when the right time is. You give your best guess.
I mean, it was not fun for Joe Adele last year with the Angels. And then this year, I'm sure it probably felt like a long, long time in the minor leagues before he got called up. And today, making his seasonal debut for the Angels, he's looked good. And there's a ground ball by Upton, and it completes a 1-2-3 inning for Brett Martin. Nicely done. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Rangers running short on time here tonight. They trail by 7.
Every time he steps up to the plate, goes into his windup, or runs one down.
He caught it! Oh, you won't see a better one than that!
He competes not only against the other team, but against the toughest adversary, himself. MLB tonight, where the best outdo their best on MLB Network.
It's time for MLB Pitch, Hit, and Run, presented by MLB Network, the official youth skills competition of Major League Baseball. Give the kids in your community a chance to compete in the 2021 Pitch, Hit, and Run Finals by hosting a local competition. Sign up for free at pitchhitrun.com.
Angels as we hit the bottom of the 8th inning, and we want to invite you to play Home Run Blast presented by Coors Light. All you do, you pick 3 players you think will homer. If they go deep, you win cash. So go to the Bally Sports app or to homerunblast.com to play along. Cool idea. Now there's a new left fielder as Juan Lagares checks in for the Angels, and Sam Selman, the left-hander, will pitch here in the 8th.
Take a look at the numbers. Sam Selman, who started his season with the San Francisco Giants. This will be his 9th game of the year, 2nd with the Angels.
It's Culberson, Garcia, and Lowe in the 8th. Culberson lines that one to shortstop. So, well, he hit one on the nose, but for an out. And that's out number 1. And here comes Adele Garcia, 2 for 3. He's having a good night. Back to his hitting ways again after a couple of tough nights. His 23 home runs. Still ranked 3rd all time. Single season homers by a Rangers rookie. Trying to catch Mark Teixeira next, who hit 26 home runs his rookie season in 03. An all-timer, Pete Incaviglia, back in 1986, hit 30. I'd say that's still within reach.
But that was 30 right out of college, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
That's wild. He didn't have a problem getting rushed to the big leagues.
No.
Non-issue. And for anybody that's ever been around Inky and knows that personality, you could figure out why. He's pretty comfortable in his own skin.
2 strikes on Garcia. Oh, it beat Dave Hostetler a while ago. And let's face it, within less than a week, he could move up past Teixeira easily enough and could even catch Incaviglia. Now, you'd like to say no matter what, it's been a tremendous rookie year. And to this point, it has. But I do think the question still remains, how will Adolis finish the year? And that will tell us as much as anything. The 1-2. Ooh. Jackknifing out of there.
He was looking down to first base. I wonder if he thought they might have appealed that, because he did start his swing. There's a lot of horizontal movement on this slider. Watch this thing where it starts outside, maybe on the corner, and finishes really far inside. And about 2.5 feet of horizontal break. Yikes.
Whoa. Oh, that one right up off his helmet or forehead.
He's laughing about it.
That's
the
good.
Goodness. Well, you mentioned why they call him El Bombi, right?
That perfectly round bowler's hat ahead of his.
That was actually a fastball. I thought that was another slider. That's amazing.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever seen a foul ball go straight up like that. And luckily it hit the bill of the helmet and not his face.
Well, he says it hit the bill of his helmet. It looked like it hit his face and the helmet. Man. But he's not going anywhere. 2-2 the count. What's next? And Selman, listen, keep going in.
Yeah, of course. Well, you can see the natural cut on the 4-seam fastball, almost just kind of like a ride to it. And then we saw that slider that was real flat, but had a bunch of horizontal break to it. And that's the thing with Garcia. One of the things that we've seen with him and the trend was right-handed pitchers pitching him in. He likes going after that pitch, but he'll also chase it in off the plate. You've seen it in this at-bat.
Swing and a miss, and Garcia strikes out second time tonight that he's punched out. They're 2 away.
So this looked like a slider with a little bit more depth to it compared to the one that he fouled off earlier, or excuse me, the one that he got out of the way of.
Okay, 2 away, and Lowe, who's 0 for 3 today, stands in. He takes a ball. The Rangers are riding a 3-game winning streak coming into play tonight. In fact, it was the longest active winning streak in the American League. Tied for the longest in baseball, but it's in jeopardy tonight. It's up and away, and as I mentioned earlier, their longest winning streak of the season has been 4 games, so they were closing in on that as a possibility. Now down to their final 4 outs, and Selman finds the inside corner. It's 2-2 on Lowe. Angels got 5 2/3 out of Jose Suarez. Junior Guerra looked good in relief, and now Selman trying to make it a perfect inning. And that one rolled up the middle, and Iglesias takes care of it for a 1-2-3 bottom of the 8th. So the 9th inning has arrived here at Globe Life Field. Angels having most of the fun tonight, 10-3.
Hey kids, MLB Network has a show just for you.
With pro tips and tricks to up your game.
And all the big news on your favorite players.
So join baseball's biggest stars on Play Ball.
Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network.
You want that home run feeling? Then step in the box and let it rip. Get ready for the Major League Baseball Junior Home Run Derby, powered by at MLB Develops. Compete locally and swing your way to the 2021 Junior Home Run Derby Finals. Get your community involved by hosting a local derby. Sign up for free at jrhrd.com.
No one covers the show like MLB Network.
Put a star by that one.
Turn on baseball's best with over 200 live games all season.
Oh my goodness!
Catch live look-ins every night on MLB Tonight.
Oh baby!
Plus breakdowns and highlights of your team, my team, every team.
And gone!
Bring home our national pastime all the time. Only on MLB Network.
baseball here on Valley Sports Southwest. How about our guy Adolis Garcia? We've watched it all year long, but tonight especially a couple of assists. A very nice play by Jose Trevino to come get that baseball and execute that throw at second. But then Garcia with this ball that short hops the wall. Nice throw to Andy Ibanez, who did a great job on the relay to nail Iglesias at home. And Garcia, as I mentioned, continues to get it done. 9 assists now in the outfield. That is tied for third most in Major League Baseball with his former teammate Joey Gallo, now with the New York Yankees. But a couple assists tonight for Adolis Garcia, who continues to play some really good defense. And Dave and I were talking about this earlier, that the best spot for him, maybe it is center field because of the arm. And there's some deep kind of center field gaps here, if you will, at Globe Life Field. And it was a good example of where that arm could come into play.
We'll see if he'll make another big play here in the 9th inning. Josh Boers on the pitch and gets ahead 0-2 against Max Stassi.
Josh Boers, we talked about this in the open. It's 40 games on the season, 46 strikeouts for him in 36 2/3 innings. He has allowed 5 home runs this year. He is the last man standing. He is the only reliever who's got the opportunity to go wire to wire for the Rangers this year. Right, no time on the IL up to this point. He opened the season in the Ranger bullpen, and he is, again, the last one of that group. Whether it was guys that have been sent down, traded, moved into the rotation, injuries, whatever it may be. He's been the only one. I'd be curious to look at teams and see what that number is. I mean, even a stint on the IL. The idea of just going wire to wire 6 months.
Boy, it just seems really rare.
I bet you it's low. I bet you it's a couple per team, maybe. I think if you have 3, that's a big deal.
I'd be shocked. That's a hard hit ground ball up the middle by Stassi. So he has a leadoff hit in the 9th inning. Suarez is the 3rd reliever used by the Rangers tonight. Dennis Santana, he got an out in the 6th inning, and then Santana came out in the 7th, and things did not go well. He could not record an out, ended up surrendering 4 runs. Brett Martin pitched 2 scoreless in relief, and now Suarez. And he grooves that one for a strike to Gosselin. Gosselin's had a fun night. Drove in a run in the 3rd inning with an infield hit. Drove in a run in the 5th inning with a single to center. He did it again in the 7th inning with a base hit to right. He's also scored twice. And he went on that one. The count 0-2. So Suarez trying to get it to the bottom of the 9th. Rangers, talk about a long shot. That's what it would be. Down by 7, but it'd be Ibanez, Peters, and Curtis Terry. Oh, a little high. We had a crowd tonight, an announced paid attendance of 19,074. And I would say that it is thinned out a little bit in these late innings.
Do you remember how many were here last night?
I mean, it was a pretty good crowd, 23,000.
I asked that only just kind of wondering about, as you see Gosselin strike out and not be able to get 4 hits tonight, which is something he's never done in his career. But wondering about that, just thinking about Shohei Ohtani. How many people thought that he was pitching originally scheduled to pitch yesterday? And I just wonder if you see a bump or not tomorrow.
It was a little over 20,000, to correct myself, yesterday.
So right around the same mark as far as where we were tonight. And would there be a bump? I'd be interested if I was in town to come watch Shohei Ohtani pitch and hit.
So I'm betting on the bump, right? You want to put in an attendance guess a day in advance?
I like it.
It's a fun little game. I'll forget about an hour after this one's over.
No, I'll remember. We'll write it down. Would you like to go first?
Sure, I'll take first crack at this one. Let's see. Joe Adele, by the way, also having a good day today. And it's 1-1. So I'll say, let's see, what kind of bump could he legitimately provide I'll say 24,000 tomorrow.
Any promotions or anything that we know of?
Well, it's $1 hot dog day.
Oh, nice. All right, I'll go 24,001. See what I did there, Stevie? See how I played him? I let him go first. I looked like the gentleman, but really I had a plan all along.
1 and 2 on Adele. What about it, Sarah?
Oh, Sarah's not. Wait, what? Sarah's involved? Oh, I'm sorry. You can go second,
I'll get in
Sarah.
on this action. I'm gonna up you though, CJ. I'm gonna go 24-5.
Oh.
Ohtani's big. I mean, give him credit.
24,500 or 24,005?
500.
Oh.
Down the left field line, and that'll be extra bases for Adele. Stassi stops at third base. As close as Brian Butterfield's been to third base tonight. Gave a little 5 there to Stassi.
You mentioned the good night that Joe Adele is having. This is a breaking ball from Spores, and that one just spun. Did not break at all. They're trying to get that ball away from right-handed hitting Adele. So he has got to be thrilled with his first game back in the big leagues. Mentioned the struggles last year, what that can do to your confidence. He starts the season in the minor leagues, and he gets back here in the big leagues, and he's got a 3-hit night, including a walk, a couple of RBIs, 3 RBIs, and 2 doubles.
Iglesias now, and he'll take off the plate.
So when you watch The Price is Right, of course, there was times in your life, I think we've all been there, that you will scream and yell at the contestants. What are you doing? No, what? And I think that just happened to Sarah for some people at home, that she didn't go 24,002.
Correct. If you're going to play it that way.
Yeah.
Which, let's face it, that's just a really weak way to play the game.
Or you could have won $1, I guess. Just go $1 if you feel like everybody overbid.
The other move that you could have made, if you wanted to be a real jerk, would have been.
I'm interested.
Go 23,999, and you two could have boxed me into one number.
That's a great point.
1-1 pitch. And this one in the air down the right side. That one will end up a souvenir. Nice play, you. I'm telling you, I was watching that the whole way. Got himself in position and made the play.
Don't rub it, 'cause I think it got him in the chest a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a really nice play. And that's why you stick around. That is why you stick around in a 10-3 ball game. There's your binoculars. I got a baseball. Yep, told you, hit him in the chest.
Yeah, he's good. Didn't bother him.
I'm right. Don't touch me there, but yeah, that's where it hit me.
Yeah, it hurts. We'll talk about it later. 1-2.
Oh.
Bounced sharply back our direction. All right, Spores dealing with a little traffic here.
I'm going to go 26,185.
Oh, you changed your guess.
Yeah, I was just messing with you.
I love it. Gutsy. Now we box Sarah in a little bit. 1-2 pitch. That skips up there. And that's a pretty big, you start talking percentages and whatnot. That's a pretty big bump.
Well,
you got the dogs, though.
That's the thing. I walked by today, and they were cooking some hot dogs. And I was like, I'm coming down to get a hot dog there. But got a little busy, got too close to game time. But that's a good draw. I wish I knew the history of how dollar hot dog nights have gone this summer. I should know.
Like what it means for attendance?
Yeah.
Yep.
I should have done that. That's kind of what I'm supposed to do. It's my thing. Research.
In the air, right field. White, pardon me. Peters coming in, makes a catch and throw to the plate. Wasn't too bad. A little bit up the line and skipped away from Trevino, but that was a pretty quick release, and he had a little mustard on it, so to speak.
Just in time for hot dog talk. Yeah, no, I'm with you. That was kind of fun to watch, quite honestly, from Peters. He kept it low. Look forward to taking a look at the velocity. Why not have a little fun here right now and go for it? And if this throw is on line, now it's tough. He had to get around the baseball, and it was that second hop, and you can see Jose Trevino, and you can take a shot at it. You know that your pitcher's backing you up, but the glove came up a little bit high. I think that second bounce, he was anticipating that coming up a little bit higher. But if that throws on the mark and it's only one hop, I think they got him.
So Adele at third, a run across, 11-3 the score, and Marsh chases strike one. I'm a 97 on the gun right there.
Well, it looks stronger than that. It says 83 miles an hour on that throw from Peters. Of course, Joey Gallo, when he was here, he was averaging around 94 miles an hour on his hardest throws. Put him in, pretty good company, first or second. Usually in the big leagues.
And that one was at what?
It only said 83.
No.
I don't buy it either. League average is right around 89 miles an hour, 88.5 usually for outfielders. When you look at the top 10% of their throws, they call it P90 at StatCast.
P90, isn't that like a workout?
P90X, that was one, yeah.
Inside, 2-2. Well, the season high for runs in a game this year for the Angels is 12. They've got 11 tonight, 11 runs on 14 hits. Infield back. Marsh, that one got the better of him. 2-2.
Slider from Josh Boris. This one didn't have quite the same movement either. You can kind of see those sitting a little bit more center tonight for Josh Boris. And the foul ball right on the top of the right foot of Marsh.
Yeah, direct hit.
No protection at all for him. Nothing.
He's young and he's strong. He's in pain. 2-2.
Or young and dumb, however you want to look at it. Yeah, he's feeling it.
I gotta say too that something about the ninth inning in a game that's a little bit lopsided. Just get to the finish line. Yeah. You'll have a little memory from this one for the next 3 or 4 days on the top of that foot. 2-2. Spores misses, full count. So he's going to have to invest 8 pitches on Marsh here. And it has not been his sharpest inning. Rangers have thrown a lot of pitches tonight. 3-2 pitch, and that one's in there. Strike 3 called. So the inning is done. Angels add a run though on the sac fly. And now it's last chance for the Rangers. They need all of it. They need every run they can get. 11-3.
Kids, MLB Network has a show just for you.
With pro tips and tricks to up your game.
And all the big news on your favorite players.
So join baseball's biggest stars on Play Ball.
Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network.
It's time for MLB Pitch, Hit, and Run, presented by MLB Network, the official youth skills competition of Major League Baseball. Give the kids in your community a chance to compete in the 2021 Pitch, Hit, and Run Finals by hosting a local competition. Sign up for free at pitchhitrun.com.
Trailing the Angels big. It is 11-3 here at Globe Life Field. That man right there, Shohei Ohtani, will be Taking the mound in this series against the Rangers. How about the Babe Ruth comparison? It continues, and it will for a while with Shohei Ohtani. Their first 27 games pitched, Shohei Ohtani and Babe Ruth, there are their numbers. A lot of decisions there for the Babe, 14-7 with a 2.93 ERA. If you put that in perspective too, right? 2.93 ERA during that time, and a 3.5 ERA during this time. You could argue a little bit which one is better. And of course, the strikeouts, the game has changed significantly, and kind of got a pretty big arm. That's kind of neat to look at some of that stuff. And Babe Ruth and Shohei Ohtani, certainly the comparisons, like I said, they don't stop. But at some point, they could. I think just because Babe Ruth obviously didn't do both for very long.
No.
And that seems like, we'll see with Ohtani, but it seems to me like he will continue to do both of these things. I hope he does. Some people talk about, well, maybe he should just only hit because he can't make that full commitment to pitching. I'd like to see it. I think he can.
I mean, the argument might well be, well, why does he need to make a full commitment to pitching? Because what he's doing right now is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like on the mound. I don't. Could he be better? I suppose you could argue that maybe he could be, but he's pretty darn good as is.
Yeah, I think part of it when the conversation comes up is about what you do in between starts. Can you get those full workouts? Really wear yourself out like the way starters do. Like when you do a real heavy workout, and I don't know, things change of course over the years, but as a starting pitcher, it's nice having that next day off. You go hard or 2 days after, and you're pretty worn out by the time the game actually comes around because of all the work that you've done getting ready for your next start. So he obviously can't do that at that level. But who knows? Maybe things change in that regard too, and how much work you actually have to do, just like we talked about with BP.
Ibanez takes one off the elbow. And so the Rangers have that first man on here in the 9th inning.
Well, he homered in his last at bat, but for Andy Ibanez, we mentioned this four-seamer's just got some natural cut, and Ibanez is one of the few big league hitters who doesn't have something on that front elbow, some kind of protection, some kind of guard. That's exactly where that ball hit him.
He's got muscles, is what he has.
Elbow muscles? He's got good elbow muscles.
Very good elbow muscles.
Okay, I read that in the scouting reports.
That's probably why he's mumbling to himself out there right now. Heim Peters. That takes strike one. Base hit, a walk, a line out today for DJ Peters. Nobody holding Ibanez at first, and this one fouled off the handle. 0-2 on Peters. Well, it'll be interesting to see after the Rangers get a look at DJ and see him in the outfield, see him in the lineup a couple of games, what they decide to do, what sort of playing time he'll command. Today, Chris Woodward was somewhat non-committal, which you would understand. He said, well, let's get him in, let's see what we got. And once we size all that up, then I'll give you a little better idea of how we plan to use him. It seems fair to me.
I think the same thing with Spencer Howard, right? It's some of these guys that come from outside the organization. You don't just want to throw all your ideas on them. You certainly have some when you're scouting players and where you think you might be able to improve their game, but at the same time, you'd like to give them that opportunity to kind of do what they do first and get a read, and then go from there and see what kind of changes you might want to make or adjustments.
Swing and a miss, and Peters strikes out, one away. All right, so the other side of the Ohtani matchup tomorrow, Colby Allard, 2-9 so far this year with a .523 earned run average. Of course, Rangers Live starts at 6:30 tomorrow night. Hope you'll join us for that. And that'll be a heck of a matchup for Colby. And he could use a good start tomorrow. Still very young as Terry pops this one up, short right field. Adele takes care of it. Two away.
It would have been really impressive if he turned that one into a homer.
He might still have a little developing to do defensively. His bat looked good today, though. And now here's Eli White. White 0 for 3. Rangers down to their final out. Angels an out away from evening the series at a win apiece. And it is strike one on Eli. Of course, these two teams see a lot of one another every year in the division, 19 times. And there have been a lot of great battles between these clubs when they've both been in the race together. It seems like they do seem to coincide a lot of times. When one is good, so is the other. And right now, both teams at the bottom of the division. No balls, 2 strikes on White. Bañez at first. And there's a swing and a miss, and that will do it tonight. One of those games that Rangers just never really in it. 11-3. Our final score tonight for CJ Nitkowski and Sarah Mayfield. I'm Dave Raymond. Thanks for being with us. Stay tuned. There's more coverage tonight, and it's coming up next here on Bally Sports.